Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Grand Rising, good people. As you're joining, please make sure that you like, say what's up in the chat, and also like for the algorithm, please. What's my phone? Ah, big bros in the building. Got my big bro Burn in the building. What's good, big bro? Good to have you here. Good to have you here. As everybody joins, please make sure that you give us a like. It's free. I like this screen a little. I'm not sorry. I feel like I'm coming through a little dark. Does this look better? No. A little stage. Alright, we're good here. Let's see if that changes things. See if that changes. We got some good topics. We got a special guest today as well. We got my big bro Doug joining us, telling us a little bit about what he does, his passion, his purpose, all of the above. What topics do we have today? Let's see. You got some dope videos that y'all been sending me. You know, I always appreciate that. Always appreciate that. I open up my, hold on, let me share this. I'm gonna leave this screen up. I'm gonna show y'all what happened when I opened up my Instagram. All right, what's up, good people? Hold on, let me show y'all real quickly the beautiful face that I just woke up to. Look at that smile. So in case you're wondering, that's Ant's son. That is Anthony Lord's son. I love that. Definitely got to give that a bunch of likes. Give that a bunch of likes if we could. All right, big bro. Tafari's in the building. Tafari's, man, send me some pics of the kids so we can all wake up feeling good about life. Make sure you send me some pics of the kids. So we got Burnell in the building. All the big bros are joining us. Appreciate y'all tapping in. Mini Ant. Yeah, the mini Ant. Tafari's in the building. Mini Ant. All right, so as I said earlier, we got a special guest. Doug is in the building. He's gonna tell us a little bit about what he does, or a lot about what he does, the passion behind it, the purpose, give y'all a little bit of insight on the amazing work that he's doing. We'll probably get to that right after the positive message. Of course, we have our positive message that we do. So we're gonna have Big Bro Ace for that. I might as well just call this show the Big Bros. Might as well call this show the Big Bros. But that's what we do, man. That's what we got to do. We got to be looking up to. I guarantee you, it's funny. One of the videos that we're actually going to watch is describing a cheat code for getting ahead. I think either Tafari or Ant sent it over to me. But it's based on who you follow, who you look up to, and how that determines your life, whether or not you'll be successful, whether you'll be a good parent, good in business, all the above. We can make those determinations based on who we're surrounding ourselves with. I know we typically like to call it our top 5. Hold on, Big Bros texting me, so I gotta hold on. Hold on. Let's see. Oh yeah, and by the way, Doug, yeah, we're definitely gonna put this pick up. We definitely gonna hold on. Let me see if I could hold on now. Let me cancel that. See if when we bring you on, we're definitely gonna bring the pick of the fam. That's a dope pick, man. All right, so hold on. Let me see what Tafari's. I think I got one from. Hold on. All right, so we got that for Doug. We're in the building. Big bro, what's going on? Tafari, what's the deal, baby? Let me see what he's texting me. He sent me pics of the kids. Dang, that was fast. All right, hold on. I gotta make sure. Yeah, because y'all gotta start seeing. Sometimes I feel like people, when you see people in different spaces, it allows you to I don't know, not go into it with just the general bias, especially if we're always going back and forth on here. We can lose we can not understand that everybody's human on here, thinking that we're just all talking heads. But hold on, let me show Tafari's first. Hold on. Ja in the building. What's good, Ja? All right, so we'll show Tafari's. Hold on. Look at Tafari and the kids. See, for all y'all thinking that Tafari's just mean, y'all treating him like Kanye, but then y'all saw that picture with Kanye and Kim with all the kids hugged up with Ye. And nobody was with Kim. What was it, at the soccer game? Oh, man. But shout out to Ja, Grand Rising, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. Midway through a successful, productive week, doing good, feeling good, and looking good. Ew! Let's get it, Ja. If that's not the mentality, the mindset that you wake up with every day, then you need to reevaluate your life. And I'm kind of joking, but I'm kind of not. You need to reevaluate what we're grateful for, the opportunities that we have, and what we've been afforded. You know, we all have a unique set of skills, and I'm sure we all can apply them to get anything we want out of life. And we got Train in the building. I know what he's laughing at. All the big bros on deck, man. We got Train in the building. He's laughing because I know he's laughing at. Everybody can appear mean. Yo, I gotta have some kids. All my bros got kids. I'm over here like, hold on. Tafari said, laughing my ass off. Wish I had Ye's money right now, but it's coming. It's already on the way. Like you said, it's already on the way. A lot of times those blessings are already on the way. We just got to look out for them to figure out what form they're coming in. But they're definitely here. Hey, yo, Train, matter of fact, Train, I actually was thinking about you yesterday. DC hit me up yesterday. Pull up the Super Bowl, bro. Got some engagements out there. I'll probably be there the week of, but then dip either the morning of or the day before. But maybe a nice little change they'll give you. But I'll hit you up after this and tell you the details on that. But make sure that you let us know about that. All right, so let's get to this positive message of the day. Calling Alvin Bowen to the stage. This one I was feeling. Let me know if y'all was feeling it. If y'all are feeling it.
Shout out everybody shouting out. Positive message.
Get the volume right.
Shout out everybody shouting out. Positive message for today is about doing it now. Not now, but now. What are you waiting for? You waiting for somebody to come and tell you to do it? Procrastination is something we all suffer from at times. My message to you today Just do it now.
Peace.
Now. Peace.
Yeah, see, I knew it was coming. Yo, do it now. Do it now. Do it now. To the young audience, that girl that you've been eyeing, you feel me? Don't wait, bro. Go get her now. You feel me? Those goals that we got. You know what? You know what's so funny about the goals? Like a lot of times we set goals or anything and we'll set them for so far out. And we ask ourselves, what would it take to complete that goal in 25% of that time? Like if you got a goal for a year, what would it take to complete that goal in 3 months? I think that's a cool little challenge. If you can take 75% of the time away from that you're planning on completing your goal, focus on completing it in 25% of the time. And then if you fail, think about it. What you're going to get to at 50%. So either way, you're going to get to it early. You know, why not address those issues, attack those issues early on? It's going to put us in a better position to not get caught up with other stuff. A lot of times I see people, and I do it too, we'll set a goal for a year from now. Then a year from now, we got totally different goals. But that's a great message from Big Bro Ace. Do it now. You know, let's stop talking about it. To be totally honest, we're getting older. Every birthday or every time I see somebody from high school, I'm looking back and I'm like, yo, I've almost been out of high school for 20 years. That's crazy. That's crazy. So don't be a coulda, woulda, shoulda. Don't be, you know, one of these people that, oh, yeah, you know, I could have done this. Nah, just do it now. Hold on. Big Bro wrote, I disagree with you. Young bros need to level up and lean to maintain it. Forget chasing any chick until then. Tafari. In case anybody didn't realize, I was joking about the young boy. I was just being facetious. Yo. That's how, you know what that's about? You know what that's funny? Now I gotta rip you. You know what that's about? When you beat somebody up so bad in these debates, they attacking your jokes. I disagree with you. Young bros need to level up, bro. Did you? If it didn't come across that I was just joking as far as, you know, chasing the ladies and whatnot. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna tell you why Tafari's choosing that. Tafari sent me. Matter of fact, I'll send y'all the post. Matter of fact, that's what we're gonna start off with. Then we're gonna get right to Doug. We'll start off with what Tafari sent me. And then see, now that you want to play games, bro, we're going to play. Tafari basically sent me a video where he thought the video was saying something that it wasn't, proving his point. But then when he actually went back and looked at the video, it proved my point. But matter of fact, we're not even going to get into the pettiness. It's a little too early for that. It's a little too early that. It's a little too early for that. But yeah, let's bring Doug up. Hold on one second. It's about my mistakes. And yeah, I missed the joke. Yeah. You know what's funny? Bruh. Nah, we ain't gonna do that. We're not gonna do that. All right. So, like I said, man, we got Doug. He's waiting in the back of the green room. Let me actually bring a picture of Doug up. Just so we can all get a glimpse of the Doug's got a team. Doug's got an army. Doug's got whatever. Look at this. If this isn't goals in life, then I don't know what is. How can I make this bigger? I need to make myself smaller. Make that. If this isn't your goals in life, then I don't know what is. Doug's got 7 kids. I need 7. Now I need 7. But yeah, let's bring on Doug. Oh, I wish I had some hand clap. Hold on, Doug. Let me play with my buttons.
Big fish. Ooh, you sound like I don't speak Victor.
Nah, sorry, Doug. I don't have the hand clap, so we just got to bring you in this way. Hold on. Let me get it. But yeah, Doug, are you there? Volume's good. Everything good?
Well, you tell me if the volume's good. It should be good.
You're great, man. You're great. And like I said, I'm super excited to have you on. Doug is a different type. He's a different type. He's exactly what Ace just described in that positive message of the day. Doug's the type, if I talk to him on this show, by the time the show's over, I'll have to check my LinkedIn, my text, because he already connected me with like 3 people that I need to reach out to immediately. That's just Doug. That's just Doug. So very appreciative to have you on board, Doug. Very appreciative to just kind of get some insight. First off, we're going to get into the 7 kids, what that's like, coach. But, first and foremost, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us what you do. Tell us about your amazing organization. It's something that's really making an impact in ways and areas that can be neglected and just kind of out of sight, out of mind for a lot of us. So I want to highlight the work that you do.
Well, I appreciate that. And thanks for having me, and thanks for your friendship too over the last, year or so. And if I get right to my bullseye, David, and I think you know this, is that I run sports camps for kids with disabilities. I have a son that was born with no arms, which that tends to change your life. We all want our kids to be healthy and perfect and all those kind of things. And then all of a sudden, my 5th child, emergency delivery, was born 2 pounds, 13 ounces, 2 months early. And it's that time when we found out that he was born with neither arm, and he actually had one leg shorter than the other as well. And so when you come from an athletic background, you're not thinking of your child being born with no arms. I had a father who was a world-class runner and semi-pro basketball player, and I did both sports as well, and at a pretty high level. And then all of a sudden you're like, this can't be right. And but you learn through those situations, and really it changed my whole course. I had become a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch for many years. And when you say the do it now, I was literally sitting in my office probably 13 some years ago, but I had I'd basically gotten to know one of the greatest sports stories that most people have never heard of. And his name's Dave Clark. He's from this little town in Corning, New York that I'm from. Read an article about him when he won the Heroes of Sports Award. It's interesting. He made a joke about Just Do It at that award ceremony. It was at the World Congress Center in Atlanta. And here I was a father with this little boy, and meeting and learning about this man who played professional baseball on crutches, who was never walked without crutches and braces due to the polio that we were stricken with as an infant. And so how odd and strange is it that this man is from Corning, New York, where I'd met my wife and was moving back from Atlanta to Corning at this time. Long story short, we became friends. He became a client. And so when you're talking about that do it now topic that just came up, here I'm doing pretty good at Merrill Lynch. I'm partnering with my brothers. Yeah, we had a downturn in 2009 due to the collapse in Bank of America and all these crazy things that happened. But I had found out about this story named Dave Clark, and I go, there's got to be something here. There's got to be something here. And it's pretty difficult to be at a major corporation and do something that entrepreneurial. And instead of waiting till now to see if I could do it, I just did it. And I wound up leaving my Merrill Lynch office, partnering with Dave. And we started, I thought we could get movie deals and books written and all that kind of stuff. But Dave's heart, when we met for business, was to do sports camps for kids with disabilities that he'd been doing since the 1970s.
When I tell y'all, and we'll share some of the videos. I know you actually text me some of them. We were going to share them a little bit later, but maybe, while we're kind of going back and forth, I'll pull some up for them to get a feel, especially the one that you sent me yesterday. That was definitely a heartfelt one, but it's amazing to do what you do. And it's funny because, well, it's not funny, I should say, but a lot of times we don't realize the things that certain people go through until somebody close to us is going through it as well. And that was kind of the situation with you, where you probably, connecting with Dave wouldn't have meant as much to you if you weren't dealing with it, going through something with your son. So you were kind of looking for, it seems like, it not only gave your son inspiration, but it gave you inspiration. As a dad, I can imagine that would be a little bit tough. Like you said, your guy played sports, competitive sports. Dave was being a little, he was downplaying his skills a little bit. But when it comes to those type of situations, that I'm putting myself in your shoes, I would need some inspiration as well. Some inspiration as well.
Yeah, we talk about this at our keynotes and things like that. because when we do the keynotes, it's mostly him. He's the cake and I'm the icing, as he would say on our keynote presentations. But a big part of it is when I reached out to him, one of the things after our breakfast meeting that he told me that I remember, of course, this is 20 some years ago now, is that he said that nobody had ever asked him questions like I was asking him. And the reason I was asking him different questions is I was trying to basically dig into his story to find out what his parents did. I wanted to know, how does this guy at 5'2" on crutches, how does he become so successful? And so that's a big part of our messaging at our sports camps. It's one of the reasons that drives me to do the sports camps, because we're getting in front of parents that have had little hope for their child to succeed. And I'm giving them the 1% man. I'm giving them a man that has gone into a situation where he is completely no chance of playing pro sports.
Yeah.
Yet he still dreamed it and he still did it.
Go touch on that a little bit, because I don't think people can understand when you say, Dave played professional baseball and he's on crutches. People, can y'all kind of
it doesn't, especially for the pro athlete. I've had to
Yeah.
dumb his story down to people like you, David, because you know how athletic guys are. I mean, I was at the University of Georgia. We had a sports dorm back then. Tim Worley and Lars Tate, and these guys, man, they were athletes. I mean, these guys could jump 4 feet straight up on a box without even thinking about it. There's just so much athleticism. And so when I met Dave, it didn't make sense to me. Okay, you played pro baseball. What was the gimmick? What was the trick? Why did they let you on the field kind of mentality? And the bottom line is, I've never met a man more competitive. I thought I was competitive. I grew up, my father, used the Vince Lombardi, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. You don't know how many times I heard that in my life. And I thought I was competitive. And then I met Dave Clark. And I'm not even in the same universe. You aren't either. I'm telling you, you are not, even at the high level that you've played, because he had to hate losing so bad that he had to figure out how. And he couldn't throw 90 miles an hour off your crutches. If you played any baseball, if you have virtually no use of your legs, no power, you're not going to be able to do that. And so a guy like him, he had a couple of choices. He could pitch or play first base. Well, you're not going to make it a very high level if you're 5'2" and playing first base, even though he did play first base later in his career. But he developed a knuckleball. And for the athlete that knows about baseball, they know a knuckleball is one of the hardest pitches to throw. It's also one of the hardest pitches to hit. And it's also, from a catcher's perspective, one of the things they hate the most is catching. And there's actually a funny story. Because Dave was wondering if he was good enough. And a Little League coach asked him at one of our camps about a year and a half ago, said, Dave, when did you realize that you were good enough? And he said, well, I was about 16, 17 years old. I was pitching to my dad. I had tried every arm angle. I'd been throwing up against walls, throwing to people that would catch me over and over and over again, trying to figure out the right grip, right arm angle for the knuckleball. And his dad was a pretty good athlete, and he would typically catch him, but he'd only use a face mask. And so Dave was throwing to him, and knuckleball came in, and it popped him right in the knee. No leather at all. And if you've ever gone against a knuckleball, you know what I'm talking about. So no leather, hits his dad right in the knee, and his dad's like on the ground, in pain, all those kind of things. He finally catches himself after a few minutes, and he says, all right, Dave, let's try that again. And this time, Dave's throwing the knuckleball. He said the very next pitch, threw the knuckleball. His dad got no leather on it, and it hit him square right in the nuts. And that's when he realized, he was kind of happy about it.
We got something here.
His dad said he'd never catch him again, and he went on to figure out, oh man, if I can get the kids out here locally, as he started going up the ranks, 16, 17-year-old baseball, whatever, he started dreaming that he could play at the next level. And it wasn't just a dream for him. He was doing it. He was trying to figure out, working out 6 days a week. He worked out 4 hours a day. He ran 13 miles on his crutches. So when you say, what is it going to take to get there? he was a guy that was willing to put the work in. And so much so, he literally hand wrote, this is back in handwriting days, no email. He hand wrote every major league team at the time asking for a tryout. And he got 3 replies, and he got 1 chance from the Pittsburgh Pirates scout. And he made that team with the Missouri team out in Pittsburgh, throwing his knuckleball. And he parlayed that into a 45-plus year career at every level of baseball, including Olympic coach, including Atlanta Braves coach. And something you and I think, have talked about, he's actually still the owner of the Indianapolis Clowns, which is Hank Aaron's original team from the Negro Leagues. They had integrated white players in the late 60s, and Dave played for that team in the 70s. Amazing.
It's I mean, obviously the story doesn't do justice. Dave needs a movie. You know, I can't even. I mean, here I am. I can sit in front of a group of kids, and I've done this before, and I think I share with the audience, and tell them none of y'all are playing professional sports. You know, and I did that with a bunch of kids that, you know, we were teaching. We had a program with kids that I grew up with, and I was like, none of y'all. This is the only one that has a shot just based on your work ethic. I can tell. You know, you guys are playing around, not taking things seriously. None of y'all you got dreams of playing D1, you're not going. I can't even imagine the way people looked at Dave when I don't even know if he would describe his dreams to other people, if he said it to other people, but to be able to get that feedback and to still have a certain level of, I don't know whether you would call it, sometimes I think I'm being healthy, call it like healthy delusion. But where it's like, I don't even care what everybody else is saying. You could think that what I'm saying that I'm about to do is wild, but you just have a certain level of buy-in to where nothing else matters. And that's what it seemed like Dave had to have.
Well, he had both. He was afraid to tell people. He said one of the first people that he told about his dream was his grandfather here in this little town of Corning, New York. And it's a small town. So, you can be a big fish in a small town. And even though, Dave was doing well here in the small town, but it's different when you go out to the next level. All of a sudden they're as fast as you are, they're as strong as you are, they're, all those things. And so he didn't know, but he wanted to know. He wanted to explore that. So he told his grandfather, and his grandfather said, Dave, you know what, go get a big job at the Corning Glassworks here, which is our big company in town. And that was his response. And he was even afraid to tell the doctors who wanted to put straighten his back because he has got bad scoliosis. And his parents didn't make him get that scoliosis because it would have killed his dream if he would have gotten that operation. But on the other hand, there's a beautiful story that I think is one of the most beautiful stories that we can tell, especially to kids with limitations, and even maybe to the kids that you're dealing with, is when he got that opportunity to get a tryout with the Pittsburgh Pirates, his mother hand wrote a letter to the scout asking the scout to let him down easy because she knew how much this was important to her son, and she didn't want him to get hurt. Just thinking he was going to get cut, 5'2", pitching on crutches, you're not going to make it in the big world. I mean, it's absurd actually. And so she actually had a envelope to return address to the neighbor's house so Dave wouldn't get the return in case the scout sent it.
No.
And so as the story would go, he had a 17-year career playing minor league baseball and then major leagues over in Sweden. He pitched over in Sweden. And so when all that was done in 1988, he's watching football with his father here at his house in Corning. And his mom comes up to him and she's got like this, tears in her eyes kind of look. And she hands Dave that return envelope with these tears kind of streaming down her face and says, Dave, how could I have ever doubted you?
I'm sure, yeah.
And so the point of that story for me as a parent is that his parents obviously doubted. Your parents probably doubted that you could get to the level that you got to. My dad probably thought I would get to a higher level, to be honest. So it was kind of reversed for me. Mm-hmm. But the point is his parents never showed the doubt. And so when you see a kid dreaming, I think one of the worst things that we can do, David, is that we tell them they can't get there. Mm-hmm. They're going to find out where their level is. They're going to find out if they're a high school athlete, if they're a high school musician, or if they can go to the next level, or if they can go to the next level. And Dave's and my encouragement to these parents is let them find out where that level is naturally, because then they'll spin off to do something different. They gave it all they got to get to a certain level, and you kind of know when your career's over oftentimes. I just watched the Barry Sanders documentary. I don't know if you've watched that yet.
Oh, I didn't. That's probably
really
my
good.
favorite player of all time.
Yeah, it's a really good documentary. You're gonna love it. I don't watch many of those, but he's one player to watch. Something like that. And he talked about when it was over, he just knew it was over. For him, it was done. He didn't have the fire. Whatever. You kind of know when it's over. And so
it happens up here sometimes.
Yeah,
before
same thing
body,
with a child. Yeah, same thing with a child with disabilities. But if they're saying, "Hey, I want to play pro baseball. I want to sing in the opera. I want to, be an artist," and they can barely draw, let them figure it out. Let them figure out where their level is. Don't show the doubt. Dave's parents never showed that doubt, and it's a huge story, I think, and a huge message that we're able to give when we're out and about, sharing our stories to these families.
Yeah, and one thing that I will say is that Dave, regardless of whether they had doubt or not, him putting in that work, him actually doing the actions, is what allowed them, and what would allow me, I would say, if I was in that parental position, I think, to not show the doubt. A lot of kids, and this is something that I deal with. Maybe you can get me on a different side of it. But and it's funny, Ant just wrote, "Leave crushing kids' dreams to Tafari, LOL, he's a pro." But I'm very realistic with kids. If they're saying one thing and their work is not adding up to what they're saying, then I'll call them out very quickly.
Absolutely.
Now, if a kid has a passion and is putting in the work, discipline, consistency, focus, we know those kids. I'll tell that kid they can do anything in this world. But the work has to obviously be there, not just for a lot of these kids. I don't know if you see it. Maybe it's a different generation, but a lot of kids now, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but there's no work associated with the words that are coming out of their mouth.
Yeah. And it's just like, whether when I was running, if I wasn't putting in the miles, it doesn't matter how gifted or talented you are. If you're a runner, you're not going to run to the higher levels unless you're putting in the work. Now, Dave, on the other hand, he talks about this. He says, you have to be, if you want to be successful, you have to be willing to put the work in with not even knowing if you're going to get the shot. Mm-hmm. Because that's really important. He ran, when I said he did 6 days a week, 4 hours a day, crutches, calisthenics. He could get on a bike and use his legs on a stationary bike. He couldn't really ride a bike, but he could do a stationary bike. He swam. He did all of those things without the knowledge that he would even get a shot. Mm-hmm. And when you're wanting to be successful, that's what you have to do in his mind, is that you've got to be able to put the work in and then be ready when you do get the shot.
Yeah. I think that's probably the number one thing that breaks athletes' dreams. And I could see it in college. It didn't necessarily happen as much in high school, but in college, everybody comes in, everybody's the best player in their hometown, big fish, little pond. But when the math in their head, as far as the work that they're putting in, they're willing to put the work in as long as they feel like they have a legit chance to get the outcome that they're desiring. But when that math kind of shifts, where it's like, well, I'm putting in the work, but the likelihood or the chances based on reality, well, I'm third string, I'm a sophomore, I haven't played on all those things, you can see them break kids to the point where, everybody thinks they're going to the league first day of college. Everybody thinks they're going to be the exception. But each day you see the mentality of kids to where it's like, they lost a little bit of that fire. They're starting to rationalize how life would be if they don't get to their dream, rather than only focusing and being obsessive on that dream. And you can see it, and it breaks a lot of people.
But that's still a good thing if when you get to those levels, I can say in my own career, I ran in the SEC. The SEC's super competitive. Mm-hmm. One of my major competitors was Mark Everett. He came in as a freshman when I was a senior. Mark Everett, and we've talked about this or whatever. He had horrible form. It was really, really bad his freshman year. But the bottom line is Mark was just gifted faster. But he also put the work in. So when you have those combinations where you're gifted and you put the work in, that's the superstar. For people like me, I was gifted, but not at that level of Mark Everett. I took my track and field as high as I could under the circumstances of no pay. There was no pro sports to go to back in the 80s. And so then you give it up because it's either work for nothing and try to continue to go for your dream, or you change your dream and you start going for other things. And so that's what you do. You pivot at that point. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because you get to that level and then you go, okay, where can I pivot? I can use these same skills, but somewhere else.
Yeah, I definitely, I don't think that it's good or bad. I think it's just, for me,
reality.
For me, I don't operate like that, but I understand that, if I'm looking to accomplish something and I let the challenges and obstacles deter me from it and kind of break my mentality as far as having the confidence to think that I can still see this thing through. For me, I'm so damn stubborn. I can't let it go, but there's pros and cons of that. Some people can say, you know what, I need to pivot now. I've heard the saying, we're like successful people that make decisions quick. You know what I mean? So my approach has hurt me in certain ways, where it's like, bro, you just keep doing it, and I'll try different ways, but I will, lock in on something. Once I lock in on something, it's hard. But there's also, like I said, there's pros to that. Just keep going. Just keep going, and you'll never quit. Keep going, and you'll never lose, whatever that may be. But yeah. I totally understand the other side.
No, I'm probably more in agreement with you than not. Because you said if you still had the mentality that you could make it, that's not the time to quit. The time to quit is when you realize, you weigh $130, you're going against guys that weigh 240, and you aren't as fast as them, you aren't as strong as them, and no matter what you do, how hard you work, you're not going to get there, and you come to that realization. That's the time to pivot.
But then I got to push it back to you, because I'm pretty sure that 130 going against that 240 pounder, I'll bet on that person more than somebody on crutches making it to professional sports.
Well, I get you, but even Dave had to come to the realization as he got older that he could not compete at the level that he knew that he should to be able to be on that field. And so we all come to that realization at one point. For him, it just wasn't when he was 5'2" in the crutches, but he could win. He knew he could win. He knew he could be competitive. And so, but he did have to come to that realization in 1988 when, after injury, after post polio, because he also got post polio, which we don't have to go into today, which is atrophying of his muscles. He couldn't continue on at the level. And then he had to do the same thing with his coaching career. He was a 3-peat championship coach in the Swedish major leagues. And he retired because he couldn't give physically to the players what he felt like it needed to be for them to win. And he retired from that, even though he loves to be on the field. But his physical limitations had to change. He had to rearrange.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. There's a fine line between delusion and reality. There's definitely a fine line. There's a fine line. And somebody like Dave, even as you were telling this story, based on his parents, everything, when we talk about do it now with the positive message, to me, all that screams out is being grateful. A lot of us wake up not happy, not excited about the opportunities that we have for the day, for the week. And we have arms. Like something as simple as that. We have legs that we can walk around on. It's almost like every time I'm going through the airport, I kind of feel a little bad when I'm taking the escalator and then there's stairs right there. Or I take the elevator and there's stairs, and I'm like, yo, like I gotta take the stairs, like just mentally, you know what I mean? Like just mentally. So we if we're not grateful for all the things that we have, that's why it's important for us to hear a lot of these stories, because it kind of humbles us a bit to the point where our ego can get in the way to where we're walking around feeling like life owes us something, rather than somebody like Dave, who's like, you know what, I'm taking everything. I want this and I'm taking it and I'm willing to outwork everybody for it. And I'm going to get there. So that's kind of, just the grateful aspect. That's what stands out to me with Dave's story.
Right. And he would say, there's so many stories that we share at our keynotes, and again, these stories have had a major impact on me because of my situation. But when his doctor first told his mother that he probably wasn't going to live, and if he was going to live, they literally used the words back then, he was going to be a vegetable. That was the outcome that the doctor perceived for Dave. But as it would be, about a year after being away from his home, he came out of the little reconstruction home in Ithaca, New York, walking with tiny braces and crutches. And the doctor had told his mother at the time, because she was like, "Doctor, if he could only walk, that's going to be, what he needs, if he can only walk." And the doctor just was straight up with his mother and said, "No, Mrs. Clark, if your son can only use his brain, that's what's going to make the difference." And Dave says that doctor was dead on, because it's his brain, it's his ability to have a strong mind in his situation, to figure out when there's a problem, there's also a solution. That strong mind is what's going to help people. And we don't teach that enough. We teach the other, with these kids with disabilities that we work with at our sports camps. And it's not just about sports as well. We're working on a disability dream and do acting camp with professional actors right now. That's pretty cool. But it's about exploring their potential, seeing how far they can take the potential, but not giving false hope. We're not trying to give a false hope to somebody. But if they start dreaming, then they got to start putting the work in to see how far they can take that dream.
I like that approach. I really like that approach. And we got a couple questions. So if it's cool, I'll just read them off. You answer, I'll answer, however we see fit. So SJ wrote, "I have a question for you both. We all love to win, but do you feel that we learn more from losing?"
Guys like you and me, we hate to lose.
Yeah.
We hate to lose. And I thought I hated to lose until I met Dave Clark. And I think I love it compared to him. I've seen him throw crutches, and I've seen him throw remote controls when the Baltimore Orioles started losing a game in the playoffs. He's throwing his remote control at the television because that's his team. And, so it's amazing that we hate to lose. I think we probably do learn a little bit more by losing. If we can use our brain to get around that loss, to figure out, okay, what did we do here? Because sometimes losing is not in our control. But we can only control the things that we can control. I think we learn both. I have great memories of losses that I learned from, but we also learn from winning. I think it's the balance of life there. So I don't know if there's one over the other, from my just quick rendition of that good question.
Yeah, I feel like I could go a bunch of different ways, but I will say this. So this is how I'll break it down. I think losers learn more from losing. And I think, so let me say that again. I think losers across the board learn more from losing. I think winners have a unique ability to be as critical as they are when they win something, as most losers are as self-critical as when they lose something. For example, like I think a guy like Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Floyd Mayweather, these type of people, they can win certain, fights or win certain games and be more critical of themselves than a lot of other people who are not as obsessive about winning will even learn from a loss. So I think that the sweet spot is figuring out a way to be extremely critical even when we do win. But I think that the average person, even if you don't call them a loser, but the average person has to feel a certain level of pain from losing, or they'll ignore all those same mistakes in winning. Like my college coach used to just say that winning minimizes losses. It hides them. Losing just magnifies the very same things that were problems in the win, but we just lost. So therefore we're being a little bit more critical. So that's how I probably answer that.
Hey, I have a question for you, David.
Mm-hmm.
Does it bother you? You played at the highest level at the NFL, and I look at the after game, after these guys, maybe they
I know
lost
what
the
you're
game.
about to.
And I'm like, they're like celebrating. I mean, when I was in high school, if we lost a basketball game, if we were away, we couldn't make a peep. Man, we were quiet the whole bus ride. If we made a peep, man, the coach was coming out and chewing us. He was reaming us out. So now I see these guys. It's like they're having a party afterwards. It doesn't even seem like they care if they lost or won. And I don't know if you've seen that, and if that's the way it was when you were in the NFL. And I get it; they're all winners. They're all at the top of their game. But when I lost something that I really, really wanted to win, I didn't respond like that.
Yeah, I think it has been very individualized. So where we're looking at it and saying, I don't know, the Giants lost. If I just balled and played a good game, then yeah, the team lost. And I'm not saying this is my perspective, but I'm saying this is what I'm observing. If the team lost, then the team lost, but I played well. You know what I mean? So then it kind of goes back to that. Is the name on the front of the jersey more important than the name on the back of the jersey? And I don't know, as I think every level that you go up, it becomes more about the name on the back of the jersey rather than the name on the front of the jersey. And I can't even, I'll be totally honest. I can't even say that I blame or fault the players. Once you get in a position where you're the team guy, you're doing everything for the team, but then you get cut, or then something happens and you get released and there's no, oh, I thought we were a team. When it comes to professional sports, it's different than college. At least it was for me. There's a different level of buy-in. You are the individual business. You as a player are the individual business. So I get that it's changed significantly. But I guess I would have to throw it back on you and say, would you rather have a losing record and be a top player in the league, or be on a winning team and be one of the worst players in the league?
I'd rather win.
But which win? You winning personally or the team winning?
Nah, I mean, as far as whether it's a team, obviously, I was in the track and field world, so we could kind of have both. And I'll be honest, my best races, like I got 7th and 4th. I didn't even win, and I at a smaller college level, I was a national champion, those kind of things when I won. But my very fastest, best races, I was racing against guys that were just faster than me. Now, the reason I can look back at those particular races with pride is because I knew I gave it everything. There wasn't another ounce that I could have gone to be better. And so there's that element too. And there is sportsmanship. I'm all for congratulating somebody that beat me when they beat me. There's that, but there's still, it just seems like there's more glee than I'm used to when I'm seeing somebody just right after a loss. It's not just that, hey, it's, I'm shaking your head, I wish I would have won kind of mentality. It's like, hey, let's go get a beer now. It's so different than what I think. But for me, I would rather, if I was on a team that had a chance to win and one of my players was just better than me, I would rather win. I would much rather win. Now, I want to be as good as I can be to be that person. That's the best person on any team that I'm at to help that team. But no, I think winning is the goal as a team.
What team? As I would respond in Adrian's gonna laugh, referring to Remember the Titans. I think that approach is definitely one that I would have felt in college. 100%.
And I get your pro level, it's a business.
Until it got to the pro level, because you know what? The same guys that want you to say, oh, this is the team, when they cut your ass, it's just business. It's no hug. The same people that you're high-fiving with and everything like that. You know what? When you walk into that office and they're cutting you, oh yeah, they're doing 1,000 other things. Oh yeah, Dave, thanks for good luck in the all right, we'll see you. And you take your garbage bag and you walk out of the office and you never hear from any other. Mostly the time you don't hear from any player on the team, and you don't hear from the coaches on the team. You don't hear from the staff on the team. I'll give you a quick one. when I was with the Giants, the head college scout, he was a very close family friend, would come by the house. Matter of fact, no, he was the head. I think the head of scouting was my girl's cousin.
Okay.
The head of college scouting, something like that, was their son was in my mom's class. My mom taught the son and the daughter. They used to come by the house all the time. We were, friends, family, whatever. And then, like I said, the head scouting, I'm not gonna throw any names out there, but that was my girl's cousin. When I got cut, I didn't get any words from encouragement from either one of them. I didn't have any coach reach out. I didn't have any player reach out, none of it. So my advice is, you can be the team first guy if you want in professional sports, but there has to be a certain level of putting your business, your personal business first. Now, you always have the commitment to the team, but the team doesn't necessarily have that same commitment to you. So I'm always going to, be the guy, hey, you want to be the team first guy, put the team ahead of you, cool. But this is business.
Yeah.
This is
So
business.
I was talking about this with my son, with a recruiting coach for my son. My youngest son is a decently high level runner as well. And we're talking about these things, because when you're on a baseball team and you're at the AA level or at the single A level, you're not just competing against the team you're playing against. You're competing for time on that field. You're competing against the other great shortstop. You're competing against the other pitchers that are going to get called up. And so there is an element of individual as well as team. And it's a hard line, because if there's another great pitcher and on the team and they're only calling up one guy to the AA level at this moment, well, you're trying to be that guy. That's when it's more important for you to have the back of the name on there, because you're literally trying to improve yourself to move up the ladder. But that doesn't mean you can't encourage the other player as well to do the best that he can.
Oh, yeah. No, not saying that at all. No, I'm saying F everybody else. But to your point, it was justified in that situation because you as an individual are trying to move up. So in that situation, would you say that if you're competing to get to, you're in AAA or AA, you're looking to move up, are you more so thinking of which would you be happy with? Your team having a winning season in the minors, or would you be happy with you getting called up to move up and having a great season and now moving up to the major leagues and having a career in the majors? Which would you be prioritizing in that situation?
Well, because the whole team is about the majors winning in that scenario. It's about moving up to improve the big team, and obviously for yourself too. It is. I don't think you can pull one from the other. You've got to be the best that you can be, and you're also competing against your teammates. It's you played some basketball, right? You know how it was on the court. During practice, you could get in fights, you could be pushing around, you could be doing whatever. But when you were in the locker room, it was different. You had to come together. If you didn't come together, then it was never going to come together on the court.
100%.
But when you were defending one of your players on the court during the defensive, during a practice, if you weren't giving your 100%, you weren't making them better either. And that's where it's like this iron sharpens iron, the whole thing as far as the team getting better and better and better. And so really this front and back jersey, I think they go hand in hand. I really do. And then you get to the levels like Tom Brady, where it's like, do you want to take more money or do you want to win? And that's another, because you could say I'm winning because I take more money, and I'm getting more money. Ohtani and Trout and all these guys. I think for them, just me personally, I'd rather take a lot less money, share it with my teammates, and have a better team.
But you're still, and I'm gonna throw it back. It's still selfishly motivated, and I'm gonna tell you why. Even with Brady didn't take less money and donated it to charity. He took less money, so therefore he can have better players around him, because he understood that at the end of his career, the more Super Bowls that he has, it's still for selfish reasons. So it's not like, and Brady to me is the best athlete of all time, best team athlete of all time, because of these type of things and other reasons that we've kind of spoke about before. But we got to be clear. Brady is not just giving away money just to give away money. He's giving away money because it puts him in the best position to win a Super Bowl.
But he was in that choice, and there's really a lot of wisdom because, I mean, quite frankly, I think these teams that are spending, even if it's an Ohtani, even if it's a Trout, you know, some of these guys that are just so good. But if they're giving $300 million to them and they got a teammate that's only making $1 million, and I say only making $1 million, it's still a lot of freaking money to play a game. But the imbalance of that, I don't think is a good team dynamic. I think it's foolish. The Trouts of the world, the Ohtanis of the world, they can get hurt just like anybody else. You put all that money into them. That's just me, but they make those decisions. They're getting paid a whole lot more money than I have. We're going to release a podcast that we did with Dave Dombrowski. You know, he's got to make those kind of decisions, not me. And those are things that they have to, it's their chess game. I just, for me, is if I was a player and I didn't get to that position, we couldn't even get paid as track runners back in the 80s. You know, we still had to be amateur to compete at the highest levels. So I'm looking at it differently, but if I could say I'm going to make 50 million instead of 100 million and my team's a lot better, I'd rather make the 50 million.
I'd love to be in that position.
Of course.
Be able to have that decision. Because then there's so many other factors that play into it. Would I take 50 million and a better team or take 100 million and then use that extra 50 million to do something amazing for my community, to do something amazing? Because now it goes into so many different areas, and I'm kind of like moving the goalposts here. But I definitely see both sides of it. I see both sides of it, and I think that there has to be a certain balance. So I can get from a standpoint where you probably hate, the guys swapping jerseys afterwards. Like, I just went to war with you, and now we're swapping jerseys.
No, I don't mind that. I think that's pretty cool, and I get it.
Yeah.
But even like in baseball, back when we were watching baseball as a child in the 70s and 80s, they weren't having conversations. When they got to first base, they weren't having conversations with the first baseman. The runner on first base. I mean, because chances are when they ran into second base, they were running with their spikes up, and the spikes were sharpened. There was a whole different mentality of trying to win and putting your heart and soul out there that I just don't see at the same level anymore on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm. Is it because, and I would even venture out to say that, you mentioned the owners before. The owners signing these players and then, having such a drastic difference between like a top player, like a Trout or, Bryce Harper or whatever, these Machado, all these players that are obviously getting paid a lot more, Judge, because we may think that team's number one priority is to win. That team is a business. Like the owners, some of the owners probably don't care winning or losing. Yeah, what are the ticket sales looking like? What are the jersey sales looking like? How much are people spending, while they're at the game? What's the viewership looking like? So that would be kind of the question to them, because a lot of these teams you play for, you realize very quickly, like, their goal, I mean, their business, I guess the business side is they want to beat you. They want to beat other teams in business. Sometimes a little bit more than they want to beat other teams on the field. And you see that in a lot of, hold on. This is, all right. So I want to comment on these because Queez he said, give me the money. And he said, you got athletes selling their championship rings, and Jerry Jones. I don't know. And Adrian's on here as well. And Adrian wrote, it's different at the top. You see behind the veil. I can kind of understand what he's saying. So
I get
Adrian was on, you know what I mean? Adrian is my college teammate and with the Giants. And it's, go get your bag, young man. Go get your bag, be honorable. And there's certain things. And I want to say, it's almost like that saying that I say at the every show, get to the bag, but with integrity, of course. Move with integrity in everything that we do. So don't be the selfish guy at practice and all that, but understand that you have to prioritize your business, what you bring to the table, and it should be aligned with the team being successful. But there has to be a certain understanding, because if not, then you're pretty much getting caught up in a team first environment where the owners of the teams that are making the decisions are in a business environment, and that can kind of put you in a bad position.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt. There's so many, and we've kind of, even in our little world of being with these professional baseball players, we've gotten the feel of that. I mean, there's players, and I probably shouldn't drop names. They played for a year at the highest level, and then the next year they're doing really well. And last day of spring training camp, cut.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst day to get cut, because all the other rosters are already full.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's just like it's one of those, it's the worst day for those guys. And it is a business, and you're dealing with so much money. I personally just wish, for me as a consumer now of these sports, I wish there was more money given, that when you won a Super Bowl, when you got to the playoffs, when you won a playoff game, there was more money dispersed because of winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've gotten away from that, because the winning is now signing the contract, getting your 3-year deal, getting your 10-year deal, whatever these guys are doing, and it's all different levels. But the winning is signing the contract, not what you do on the field. And I would rather see the reward come from what you do on the field. And that's when you get, like if you go back in the 70s, I don't know what the if you won the Super Bowl bonus was, but that meant something to those guys.
Mm-hmm.
It was real money at the time. And if you didn't win it, it wasn't about the glory. It was about, you didn't get that bonus.
Mm-hmm. And it still means something to a lot of the guys, but it just may not be. See, a lot of times after the game, the camera's on the best players.
Correct.
If the camera was on a lot of the players that, if that Super Bowl bonus would have, was 30% of their yearly salary, put the camera on those guys and you'll see how disappointed. So we could definitely see those people. But a lot of times, obviously the best players, they're making so much money that Super Bowl bonus may not mean as much to them. It just may not. So I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Let me ask you this. Is it different on the job?
Not really. I mean, it's you're talking about the same thing. You could work for, I mean, you've heard this, you could work for a big corporation for 40 years and they give you a watch and say goodbye. And then they don't call you and they don't say check up on you. They don't do any of those things. And so there's culture that is very similar, and that's where, what you're talking about, the importance of the jersey, the name on the back of your jersey. It's who's your closer tribe, because in the end, we all go out alone, and so there's just that reality. We all go out completely alone. But the people that we have around us, the tribe that we have around us, whether it's the 5, then the 10, and then, and then there's the outer skirts. Those are really, in the end, that becomes the most important people and the most important that we work for.
Yeah. And it's funny because, I guess this is something that Tafari mentioned in a different way, but as far as like the people at the top, determining the culture, the same thing with Remember the Titans, when he said attitude reflects leadership. A lot of times,
It's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I think about it all the time. But when you have, at least the teams that I have been on, to where there has been that kind of buy-in from the team, now that I'm saying this, I'm actually questioning whether it's like you have to convince the players why buying into the team is beneficial for them as individuals. You know what I mean? It's like, right. So there's two different types of players. I think that the type of player and teammate that you were definitely an exception. I think when people say like we're missing that old school athlete, that's what they're thinking of. And I totally get it, and it's funny because I think back to the Cam Newton Super Bowl when they lost. Right after the Super Bowl, he couldn't talk. He walked away from the mic and everybody got upset at him. And I'm sitting here like, yo, why are you upset with him? Like, he should be pissed off. You should be more upset with the people on your team that, like you said, they kind of acting like one loss. Yo, where's the party at? You know what I mean? Like, yo, and it happens like that. When and I'm not saying it's good or bad. When Gronk and them lost to Adrian when Adrian and them won the Super Bowl in Indianapolis. I remember being out there with Adrian, and it's all good because the Giants won, but then Gronk out partying, you know what I mean? But you gotta, it's like you give your all to the game and then you party afterwards, neither here nor there. But for me, that was just kind of one of those things that, and I kind of lost my train of thought to the initial point, but going back to Cam, when you have a player that is visibly upset, that can't handle it, that obviously takes the game very seriously, they're still getting bashed. So it's kind of like you got to pick your poison, pick your medicine, whatever it is. It's but I get what you're saying, especially from a fan perspective. You look at the NBA; these guys taking off all these games.
Watch the NBA.
People, it really is. It's all the flopping. I've never seen a sport where, maybe soccer, where you get rewarded, where players actually put in their head, I want to act like I'm more hurt than I am in order to get, like in football, like I'm telling, like, yo, if my teammate sees me hurt, yo, pick me up and don't have me out here looking crazy, yo. Pick me up and get me off this field. But in different sports, it's kind of just a different makeup. And maybe it's just a different athlete with the generations. There just used to be more pride. Maybe where there's less money, there's more pride.
Yeah, I think money's, and now we have the betting side of it. So it's even potentially getting it uglier and uglier. I mean, but yeah, I mean, there's no perfect answer for these things.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about team, like if you run on a relay, did you ever run on a relay?
I did. I let off.
So you what was it? 4x4, 4x1? What did you run?
Whoa, buddy. 4x1. I never ran a 4 in my life. I would have. Hold on, man. You're talking about punishment. That's when it turns into punishment. That's not sport. Honestly, anything over the 100 is like the 200 to that, but the 400, that's just punishment.
I'm glad you have respect for us middle distance 800 meter runners, 1,000 meter runners.
I do.
So it's yeah. So but to me, a relay is one of the most exciting things in sports. It's 4 guys going against 4 guys or girls or whatever the situation is, and you're all equally important.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's so many things that you got to do to make it right. You got to make that baton pass right. You got to work together. It's truly a team effort, and I love the relays for that whole scenario, because you're not going to win by yourself, and you need your team, and you need to work hard for your team. And then where the competition level has come, even in high school. I remember in high school, I was a pretty good runner as a sophomore, and we had 4 seniors that were good 800 meter runners. Well, I had to beat one of those seniors out. And you know how the pecking order is. It doesn't always go. You're not always looked at well when you're the younger runner, beating out one of the older runners. And there, I'm bringing that story up because it created anxiety for me of I don't want to say being picked on, but all those kind of things. And so, but I still wanted to be on that team. Mm-hmm. I wanted to run as fast as I could. And that's where that whole team individual, it gets pretty sticky, when you're talking about it. But we have to do both. It's got to be a balance. We got to look out for ourselves, being the best that we possibly can be. And how do we pull other people along? I mean, that's really kind of one of our main messages, if you're, seeing the pulling each other along theme that we have.
Yeah, no. And as you're talking, I'm just kind of going through the chat as well. I know we kind of missed a bunch, but we'll try to read some of the ones that are sticking out. But standing out, Ant, relax. Ant's a big pause guy. He wrote, I think for the kid not putting, this kind of going back a little bit. Sorry, We're catching up. I think for the kid not putting in the correct work ethic, I wouldn't tell them you won't make it. I probably approach it like, hey, I believe you can get to the level you want, but you need to do. Yeah, I think that's definitely the first stage, and maybe that's something that I should incorporate more. But if I'm seeing this energy, my over time, I'm definitely gonna have a certain higher level of urgency. That's just me. Maybe that's because it never bothered me. Somebody telling me that I couldn't do something, it only helped me, I guess, looking back. So maybe that's kind of how I look at it, but maybe that's not how most kids. So maybe I need to adjust my message based on who I'm speaking to. Always open to that. So Appreciate
I think
that.
that what you just said is really, really important. Is It depends on the person, because some people need the pat on the back,
Yeah.
some people need to get screamed at.
Yeah.
And we're missing that because we're trying to cookie cutter everybody, where it's like, oh, let's be careful with this person, but that's not what that person needs. That
Mhm.
person actually needs to you need to get in their face, you need to confront them. And then there's other people that respond better when you're saying, you know what, here's the pat on the back, this is what you
Mhm.
need. And so there's a balance of different personalities there, and I think we often try to cookie cutter people instead of realizing, we're all different.
Mhm. Yeah, that's something that I can improve. And for me, it's like when you're putting in the work, it's easier to pat somebody. It's one thing to put in the work, have somebody go all out, and they're just not getting the results that they're looking for. I'm gonna like, yo, this person. Those are my favorite type of people. Like I'm a hustle player. Like I like my claim. Yo, the award that I'm most proud of, maybe ever that I've ever gotten, is all skin knee team on the basketball team senior year. Like I thought that was the dopest, like all skin knee team, like the hustle player. Like yo, I was showing my mom, showing the school. I'm like, yo, all skin knee team. Like that you just put dog pretty much. That's the dog award. You know what I mean? So
I
I'm
100% agree with that.
you know what I mean? Like I'm always gonna root for that type of player. Matter of fact, the ones that I can't stand the most are the ones that do have that potential, but for whatever reason, they're just, they're feeling themselves a little bit too much. They think because they had a good year and a 10th grade that they're already set for the league and all this other stuff. But I'm with you. I gotta look into adjusting it a little bit. Like you said, balance, Doug.
Yeah, and people are different. I know with Dave, because he coached at a very high level, and because he came at it from a very different perspective. A lot of people would say work on your weaknesses. That
Mhm.
was not his thing. He said, he was never going to run fast to first base. He could have maybe
Mm.
gotten a half a second faster. Okay, so if he got a half a second faster, it was going to take him 10 seconds to get there instead of in 10 and a half or 11. So that was never going to be his strength. And so one of the things, because he looked at it so differently, if you were his player, he would say, okay, David, what's your strengths? Did you run a 4.4? Well, let's work
Mm.
on that. Let's get down to 4.2.
Mm.
And so work on your strengths, because the strengths are what got you there.
Right. Yeah.
And if you focus on, that doesn't mean you never work on your weaknesses, but typically it's the strengths of your game or your business, whatever it is, that's what got you there. And so he wanted to find out where the strengths of his players were, have them work on their strengths, and then place their strengths in the right position
Mhm.
to help the team.
Yeah. No, I like that. And I think Ant was supporting, what you said as far as with pivot. He wrote, I prefer pivot versus quit. Also, the Dave story introduces an interesting concept. The idea of, yes, you made it to the level you wanted to. Great. Now, is it sustainable? That's something from a standpoint where that's when you really find out who somebody is. I guess how long you can stay there. For me, I'll be totally honest, even with training camp, I could lock in for training camp and just become that asshole, whatever I needed to become in training camp to make the team. It's like survival mode. What's the movie that they drop people out in the forest? Hunger Games. It is
Okay.
Hunger Games when you're looking to make a team. And for me, once it's like once you make the team, there is a certain level of ease where it's like, and it's like a lot of times it's like, yo, I need a breath. Like this is, and especially you don't realize when you're going from college to the NFL, it's like 2 seasons. So it's like the preseason in the NFL felt like a full college season. So it is like something that we may not focus on as much as sustainability. And that's why I think even going back to what Quee said, as far as like with the microwave society that we have now, where everybody wants things quick, that's the difference between when you're actually going through the process, becoming who you need to be, learning the skills and attributes and everything along the way, rather than just being able to rely on talent like you may have done in high school, maybe even to a certain extent in college. So it's developing who you need to be in order to be successful at that level. So I think that was definitely to your point as far as pivoting rather than seeing it as quitting.
Right.
So me, I kind of may see it as quitting, but I need to understand it as pivoting, because
Well, at
then I could
times
be
it can
wasting
be
energy.
quitting, David. I mean, if you're halfway through the race and you just want to quit because you can't win, or you think you can't win, that's quitting. If you don't finish the race. But if you've given everything you can toward a goal and it's finished, and you know it's finished, that's when it's a pivot.
I like that.
You know, and again, that could be defined differently depending on the person's as well. I mean, somebody in their mind, because once your mind says, you know what, I can't do this anymore, I can't make it, then, you know, it's like we're working on a movie deal with Dave Clark's story. You know, we actually had another producer meeting or whatever. You know, this has been something in the works for 10, 12 years. And we're realistic knowing how hard and difficult it is to get a movie on the big screen. It's not a given.
Yeah.
But we've put the work in. We've talked about which stories, we've written scripts, we've invested in money, you know, all those kind of things. And I kind of took it to as high as level as I could, but I had to pass it on to people that I trust are going to be better than us to get it done. But that doesn't even mean they're going to get it done.
Yeah.
But we're going to continue to pitch it and do the work. And I think it has a shot, but even having a shot doesn't make it happen.
Yeah. I like that. But we need to support. That's what I heard. We got to support, make sure that happens. But Queezro, I don't think losers learn more from losing as they continue to lose. I think Queez is talking about my point. Let me actually average people. Let me say that. I think average people learn more from losing than they do from winning. I think exceptional people are able to, like I said, treat certain wins almost as losses so they can get those. When you just hold yourself to a higher standard. Like there's certain people where winning's not enough. I can guarantee you that if the Buccaneers or the Patriots won a game and Tom Brady played terrible, he's happy the team won, but inside he's screaming, he's furious as far as how he played. So I guess life is learning. It all goes back to that balance that you talk about.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Let me see. I agree. The person using their brains, win or lose. All right, let me try to. I think we're caught up on most of the stuff. There was one on Ant wrote, taking less money to stay on a championship winning team is still a financial decision that will help you in the future. Okay. Hold on. Let me so Ant wrote, what Doug is saying corresponds with the conversation we had about parenting. I think it plays hand in hand with coaching. Know the kids and know if they respond better to positive or negative reinforcement.
Hey, can I speak to that real quick?
Please.
Because I got 7 kids. Now, most people don't have 7 kids, and in my case, it's all from one wife. It's all one woman, which makes a difference.
Hold on.
Big fish shit.
That's definitely some big fish-ish, bro. So we got to clap it up. 7 kids, family man. One. So you got it.
But things change and things are different. And the craziness with me is that my kids all have, in essence, the same parents. But they're 7 different kids. You wouldn't believe how different some of them are. And it's amazing that you have to, like, one child would respond to verbal correction when they were little. Another one, if you could say, don't do that, try to give them verbal correction. It didn't work. Let me just tell you, it didn't work. And my mom gave me some of the best advice ever when when my oldest son was 2. She goes, if the discipline doesn't hurt, it doesn't work.
Ooh, hold on. I swear, Doug, I had on the top of this list spanking children. I don't even know what. I think I was watching some videos, but please continue, and then I'm going to ask you a question regarding that.
All right, I'll share it honestly as best I can in this cancel culture world.
Yeah. Be careful. We still need donations.
So I believe that it doesn't have to be spanking. From my perspective, but it has to hurt. If it doesn't hurt, it's not going to work. Because if it's just one of those things where the discipline is, if you stop doing this, we're going to give you a lollipop. Well, that's not hurting. That's not something that's really going to teach them, because in life things hurt. If you walk out on the street when I told you not to and you get hit by a car, that's a much worse spanking than getting a physical spanking that's out of love and out of control. And, there's a real, I think spanking is not out of anger. It's never out of anger. It's out of a love for that child, and it's out of correction. In some states we're not allowed to spank. In other states, I think we are. And I don't even know what the rules are, because I've been long gone from that.
There's really laws against it now? Maybe
I think in some states there
maybe I've
are.
gotten soft on it. I don't know, but it's I like leaving it. Matter of fact, we're not going to elaborate on the spanking. I like leaving it exactly where you said. It has to hurt. There has to be some level of, whether that's, you guys use your own,
Because you can spank a kid and it doesn't
yeah,
hurt.
yeah,
You can spank a child
yeah,
and it doesn't hurt them.
yeah,
They're just going to laugh that off.
yeah.
They'll say, "Oh yeah, spank me again. I don't care," and they're going to continue to do what they do. And sometimes a spanking, kids are pain tolerant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if they're pain tolerant and it doesn't hurt them, that's not what they needed. They need something that's going to hurt them for discipline, especially when they're little.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it when they're little, you can pretty much forget it.
So it probably goes back to that. I remember Coach Caldwell, when we first got into the first meeting that we had with the Colts, he said, I'll be fair, but I won't be equal. And I think that's what I'm hearing as you're talking. And
so I used to play a game. I used to play a game with my kids,
and
I would be the umpire that was bad. And so a kid could strike out, and I'd give him first base. And a kid could get a hit or whatever, and I'd call him out. Just totally bad calls, all on that, trying to train my kids on what fairness was and that life isn't fair. And when we played the game and they'd get mad and say, "No, that's not right." And I'm like, "Nope, I'm the umpire. The umpire says what it is." And I literally played games with the kids where they got that on purpose, part of their training.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ant, hold on. Ant agreed. Ant had another good comment, but he said, I agree, discipline has to be felt, but doesn't have to be physical punishment. I can't wait to spank my kid when I have kids. Nah, I feel like I'm being soft.
I'll give you some instructions on how to do that offline. How's that?
All right, yeah. Let's talk about that offline. Queez wrote 7, why your wife is the GOAT. Definitely got to clap it up for that. Ant said, God bless 7 kids. But Ant wrote, I want you to, you tell me what you think about this. He said, I don't think your 7 kids had the same parents. Even me and my brother got 2 different versions of my parents.
Ooh,
and that's to what you're saying.
Well, my kids are I have one that's 33 and my youngest just turned 18. So there's a 15-year gap. And just think about social media differences. Back in the 90s, when I had my first 5 kids, totally different. And then all of a sudden Facebook and whatever started showing up, and you're like, okay, what is this? And cell phones and texting. And my oldest son didn't even have a cell phone until he stole my wife's cell phone when he was like a senior in high school. And so, but now, if you're not giving a kid a cell phone when they're 15, you're behind times, or 13 or 12 or whatever. So you are 2 different parents, but a lot of it is, our culture's changed, and the whatever, there's been a lot of changes. And then you change as people. I tell people that I've been married to 15 different women. It just happens to be the same one, because we change. She's been married to a few husbands. We change. We're different. We grow up. We look at life differently as we get older. So we discipline differently as well, or we treat our kids differently, in these different arenas. And so I think that point is right on, is that they can get 2 different parents.
Aaron Ross just said that his wife, Sonia Richards Ross, he was a track runner actually, down in Texas. He just, there was a video that I just saw with him saying that, and it's funny when you first say it, it's like, yeah, I wanted somebody else, my wife. And it's like, no, I wanted a different version of my, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, he was kind of having a conversation like that, but it reminded me of what you said, like different, you're going to show up as different versions of yourself. And I guess that's what we should be looking to do, but just make sure that we're better, learning. So hopefully I won't have to go through all the same things, but I can talk to, people like you, learn a little bit more, and I guess minimize those mistakes as much as possible. But I'm sure, you got to go through it. You got to go through it, right?
Yeah, and you continue to go through it, and it doesn't necessarily get any easier.
So Ant wrote, I hope your wife's not watching,
she
coming home to 50.
She knows I say that one. I wouldn't have said it publicly.
Different responses.
She would agree.
Yeah, I think that's life. And I feel like once you have 7 kids with somebody, y'all are locked in on a team level, I would say, like no other.
definitely differently. You're for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. And it
Yeah.
doesn't make it easier going forward, going backward or whatever. I mean, there's still constant struggles. There's still realness. There's, when you got kids in college and, for the most part, it was 7 kids with 1 income,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's changed a little bit now, because my wife can work some, but it's it's different. But now we got 5 grandkids, so we're at another level. That's the fun level.
That's when you can kind of
We
the
can
shift
leave.
between the two.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna share. And Doug, you could feel free to stay on. We're gonna review a couple different videos. Well, actually, no. Hold on. Before we do that, I want to show these videos. I wanted to show the 2 videos that you
I want
sent
you to show
over.
those, and then
Yeah.
I'm actually going to be going to Utah today. I found out.
Oh shoot, then you got to go anyway. But hold on, let me make sure I share these.
I'm meeting
first.
with the Binghamton Mets organization
Oh, nice.
this afternoon for lunch, and then heading to Utah.
What's the goal of that?
So we've done we've done sports camps with the Binghamton. It's their AA team, the Rumble Ponies. We actually had Tim Tebow at our camp, in 2019, and then of course 2020 came and changed it. So it's to get on schedule for them next year and talk about next year, the fundraising, all the different things that we have to do.
All right.
It's a great camp.
Good luck with that. And then Binghamton's not too far, so
yeah, it's only about an hour for me.
Yeah. All right. Let's hold on.
So these are from this year. Both of these, no, one's last year, one's this year, but they're just little clips that give you an idea of what kind of joy we bring by doing these sports camps for kids with limitations and disabilities. And I just posted these yesterday, just short little clips.
Which one we want to start with?
Do the little girl with the clapping. That was this year. I actually took this video. She just crossed home plate. She was probably out playing baseball for about an hour.
Making our day.
That's precious.
And all she
I'll
could
take
do
all
is
the applause you want to give me.
Looked like she loved you.
Yeah, she's just sitting there and she just kept clapping.
No, that's amazing.
I'm Dave.
And this is the second one.
Yeah, this is our other Dave, which we didn't talk about.
Your hands right there, and you're gonna catch it. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, catch.
The excitement.
What a job!
All right. All right, let's do it.
That was the first time he'd ever caught a ball.
No way.
Yeah. That's what we heard. So
Yeah, you're making a difference, big bro. It is it's appreciated. A lot of us, focus on different things, business here and there, but when you can align, your purpose with something that's so meaningful for other people, that's definitely honorable. So
yeah.
I definitely want to thank you.
These camps will get upwards between 80 and 100 participants, all ages actually. And as a rule, we get most of the baseball team. So we get most of the pro team, and sometimes really all of the pro team out on the field doing the drills with these participants. And so when I say there's energy on these fields, it's pretty awesome. And it keeps us coming back. But we have to fund it. We don't charge for these camps. We've never charged one dime for a family to come, where they get T-shirts, they get hats. We feed 200-300 people. They get tickets to a baseball game or a hockey game, because we do hockey as well. And it's all free, and that includes our travel, our hotels, our flights, our rented cars, all those kind of things that people don't know.
There's a lot that goes into it
to make these things happen. And so we're looking for bigger partners and people to sponsor us and get my books. I've written a couple of books and got some great stories that Dave Clark is the centerpiece of all those books.
Yeah, I want to dive into all those. And what we're going to do is, for Doug, Giving Tuesday was yesterday. So that's kind of why we wanted Doug to come on today. We want to support, certain people, certain charities, certain teams that are just doing amazing things that we may not be able to volunteer our time, or we're just not volunteering our time, but to lend that support goes a long way for Doug. So this is what, Doug, if you can put the link in the chat, for people to support. And then what I'll also do is, when the YouTube's done, I'll make sure that I have all the information in the description of the video as well.
Very good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
This is kind of more of our charitable side, because we do have a business, and a lot of our business supports what we do, so people can hire us as speakers, and not to be too boastful, but we're really good. And when you get to hear Dave's story live, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to. Maybe we could raise some funds to support Dave jumping on here. I would love to kind of hear his story.
let's get Dave on the show. I'd love,
Yeah.
and and we got two Daves. We haven't even gotten into my other Dave.
I
So
know. Yeah.
the other Dave, just real quick, is a 7-time Emmy Award winner who was born with no legs. He was with ESPN for 20 years. And so anyway, I got these two great, incredible people to share, their struggles, but how they didn't let their struggles hold them back
And define them.
Yeah. So I've got to figure out how to get in the chat here, but
here, text it to me. Text it to me, and
All
I'll
right.
put it in the chat. You text it to me. I know you got to run. Thank you again. You got to promise that you'll jump back on. I don't know when it will be.
just let me know.
Yeah, it'll be good to kind of. I know Tafari was looking forward to having a bunch of us on last week. It ended up being Tafari now, but maybe we could pick a day out and schedule it where we can kind of just, even if people are just popping in and out. But I think that these combos, speaking on people's real world situations, I think we can relate to them. So
very good. I'll text you. I'll text you the link. D3
Day.
Text
me the link, and I'll throw it right in there.
It says d3day.com, and then if they do /donation, that actually goes to our nonprofit.
Hold on. d3day.com/donation.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if that comes up.
Donations to.
Hold on.
Donations. We don't want just.
Don't look at that first one.
We want donations, I guess.
.com/donations. There we go. Well, big bro, it's been a pleasure. I'll talk to you soon. Safe travels. Have a great meeting up in Binghamton, and we're looking forward to having you tap in Friday or next week or whenever.
Very good. Thank you, and thanks for having me. I didn't realize we were going to go this long, but I appreciate all the conversation. That was great.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. This is how our regular combos are. So I knew that it would be a good combo. But appreciate you, big bro. We'll see you soon.
Take care.
All right. All right, man. Shout out to my guy, man. Shout out to my guy. All right, let me make sure that I caught up with everything. Definitely thank you for sharing, Doug. Big, beautiful family. God bless. I gotta start. We gotta start having some kids. I gotta start. I'm about to be on my Nick Cannon. I don't know about y'all. Let me start. I'm just joking. Just joking. Two parents thing, the smartest thing I've ever heard. Heard from Ant that says a lot of smart shit. The two parents thing. Oh, nah. Ant was on, yo. Ant was on. Hold up. My boy Ant was giving some good insight. Queez was on too. Y'all was not only highlighting certain stuff, correcting certain stuff. So we definitely appreciate that. But let's get into, so there are a couple different videos that I think I had queued up. One was, I don't know if you sent me this, and no, I think Kiki sent this one. Shout out to Kiki, that I want to share with y'all. It's just talking about parenting, and I want to get y'all thoughts on this. I think it's, here it is. Where'd it go? Here we go.
If there's some parents watching or listening and they're like, wow, this is very eye-opening, I've never thought of it this way. They've always raised their kids a certain way. Their kids are between...
So this is a word that I hear very often in United States. We don't hear this in India. I was raised this way.
Yeah.
People say, I was raised Catholic, I was raised Jewish, I was raised Baptist, I was raised this way. See, you don't raise human beings, you only raise cattle. A human being is a possibility that needs to be nurtured, not raised in a particular way. So you are raising people in a certain way because you're already committed to something that you think is absolute.
Wow.
Nothing is absolute. Life is a possibility. Will you allow your children to explore that possibility, or do you want to make them like concrete blocks, that they come out in a particular shape, raised in a certain way? No, this is not the way to handle humanity.
If there's some parents...
Yeah, what do y'all think as parents, man? It's ain't funny. He talking about Taff. I feel like that's a backhanded compliment. Oh man, I love y'all, man. But what do y'all think about that? He said that when you raise them, it's almost as if you believe that whatever way that you're raising them, that you've accepted that, or you're you think that that's the truth, or what was he saying? Like, as far as my takeaway was from it, I had a lot of questions. And me not being a parent, I can only look at it from the son side. So, do you think that we should be raising kids that way he says, or do you think we should be, I don't know, just maybe establishing a foundation and then letting them kind of explore on their own, and we just support and keep them safe while they're supporting whatever, and support while they're exploring whatever it is that they're exploring? Or do you think that we should be pushing them to a certain, place? Do you think that, I know certain cultures, it's like, no, you're going to be a doctor because our family needs a doctor. You're going to be an attorney because our family needs an attorney. You're going to be a teacher because our family. What do y'all think is the best way? What do y'all think is the best way? So Ant wrote, I agree. We talk about this all the time in a different way. We have to meet them where they are and who they are. Give them tools and let go. Now, y'all as parents, I would ask, it seems like a tough thing to do. Like, me just thinking about it, seems like it would be tough, but it's almost like the alternative is they're going to resent you for it. Ant wrote, tools and knowledge and experience. Facts. Providing all the tools, knowledge, and experience. And I think Queez mentioned it earlier, to where he said, he doesn't necessarily want to push his kids one way or another, but he just wants to kind of make sure that he supports them in whatever they kind of are leaning into at that time. Tafari wrote, laughing my ass off. I said, you say some smart shit, but that was the deepest to me anyway. Nah, yo, Ant hit it. I'm telling you, he had a couple things, the different versions. Yeah, I was definitely feeling that. But yeah, it's, I guess even being up here, like, when I'm speaking, or when y'all are just sharing, even in person, do y'all tell when you have different friends or different relationships, do you more so try to convince them to move a certain way, or is it kind of just be a friend to them and then kind of support them as they go along their journey? I don't know. And then maybe it's obviously different with a child because you're responsible for that child. Me, I have all these thoughts in my head of, oh, I would do this, I would do that. I don't know what I would do until I get in that situation. I just don't know. So I just thought that this was a different way of looking at it from American perspective. And what's funny is he said an American perspective. I don't even know if that's American. I actually would say the opposite, that American parents, we very much just let our kids do whatever. I don't think that we take as much of a structured approach into the rearing of our kids as we should in a lot of ways. I actually see all the other cultures, like when we bring up that list, as far as how I think it was the amount of income and the household income, and it was like 15 groups of people, their nationalities, and Black Americans were on the bottom. A lot of the groups on the top, to me, when I think about Indian culture, matter of fact, when I think about Indian culture, hold on, this is an Indian guy, right? Yeah, this is an Indian guy. In my opinion, I think the Indian culture is more so pushing people to do certain careers and to have certain career paths rather than America. I see that more in Asian cultures, Indian cultures. I see it in more Eastern European cultures. So hold up. To me, the America, whether it's Canada, whether it's America, am I seeing it wrong, or do I think that we're more lax, we're more relaxed on these type of things? I'm actually questioning now the video, because I'm like, hold on, my Indian friends, I know that they had a much more structured upbringing than most of, I would say, Americans. But I may be off. Let me see what Tafari's talking about. American parents are lazy enablers that send their children into the world with the least capable skills to survive it. I agree. But that's what I'm saying. Like when he says, raising, like he says he hears that word raise in American culture. I feel like we are very much the culture. Yo, do you want to be this? You want to be that? Oh, you want to be a dinosaur today? Okay, cool. You're a dinosaur. You want to be a boy? You want to be a girl? Whatever. Yeah, you want to be big? You want to be little? It's cool. Rather than a lot of other cultures. So I don't know. I would push back on that. But let's go to this other video. This one actually aligns with some of the stuff that Doug was talking about. And the one that I mentioned earlier as far as who we surround ourselves with. So let's check this one out.
Back in the day, a group of psychologists studied 1,000 students across 6th, 8th, and 10th grades across 2 separate school systems, and this is what they found out. If your close friend started smoking or drinking, so did you. Now here's the crazy part. The opposite is also true. Harvard University, over a 25-year study, found that 99% of life success is attributed to the people you associate yourself with. This is called your reference group. So if you really want to level up, dude, and you want to grow and adapt better habits, 1, become friends with 5 people you admire. 2, follow 5 people on social media whose content uplifts you. And lastly, fire every single person in your life that makes you question your aspirations. That, my friend, is the ultimate cheat code for speeding up the process that you want to become.
So what was it? 5? Be around 5 people that you admire. Befriend 5 people that you admire. Follow 5 people on social media that you aspire to be like, look up to. And the rest was cutting all that dead weight. And that's the cheat code. Now, those are things that any of us can do. Any of us can reach out to certain people that we respect, that we look up to in our lives, and figure out a way to be around them more, to add value to them, to where they want to be around you more. The next one would be following 5 people on social media. When we understand the influence that social media has and the things that we're following and things that we are literally creating the algorithm to our lives just based on what we're seeing on social media. We're creating the algorithm. And Ja wrote, hold on, let me catch up with the comments. Ja wrote, I think as parents, it's our job to instill the proper principles and tools to be successful members of society, to be respectful, responsible, and to know their worth. I'm with that. When I look forward to taking on that role to instill proper principles, tools, give them what they need, establish the foundation. Like, it's one thing to me, I can trust somebody. It's almost like somebody that you saw put in the work. You're going to trust them when they get into the game. You're going to be a little bit less hands-on with them because you know that they've done everything to prepare to be successful. Now, somebody else that maybe we didn't push as much to prepare, or we didn't prepare as well, that's going to be a little bit more of a nervous situation. To now we're being hands-on. Now we're trying to micromanage. Now we're telling them, well, do this. We're giving them too much information where they can't just play the game. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, I can't not relate things to sports. That's just what I do. But I definitely agree with you, Ja. I definitely agree with you. And once again, these are things that we all can do. We all can do. And there's another video that I want to get into that actually touches on, it was Patrick Bet-David, and he was having a conversation with a gentleman, and they were talking about how film and music can destroy a civilization. And a lot of times when we're having this convo, truth be told, we're talking more about, the hip hop and how the Black culture is terrible and all this other stuff. And I'm the main person saying it. But I wanted to kind of us to watch a little bit of this video, and you guys give me your thoughts, because it may just give us a little bit of a different perspective. Hold on. Tafari wrote, Najah, what's knowing their worth when they're still growing? Wouldn't it be establish a value? Fair question. My takeaway from it was knowing who you are first and foremost. Knowing who you are. I want you to carry yourself with a certain level of confidence based on the work, based on the principles, your integrity, all these different things, based on the earned confidence. Earned is the key word for me there. So that would be how I determine my kid's worth. My kid is I'll give you another way to know their worth. You're not a D student. You're not a C student. Now, obviously, I don't have kids, but if I had a kid that was healthy and capable, you know what I mean? Now, there's going to be certain, you know, if you have a kid that may be born with different disabilities, we're not necessarily referring to that. But one of those things would be based on how you reward behavior. No. If you don't know who your kid, Tafari, who are you? Let me ask you this: you know who your kids are based on. Do you know who you are? Let me ask that question first, and then we can circle back to that video. Because Tafari wrote, they don't know who they are. 100%, they don't know who they are. But you need to. Well, I'm not going to tell you what you need to do. What I would want to do is provide a certain foundation to where that kid knows the lineage that they came from. When a kid grows up and they see their father or they see their mother in a certain light and they understand that they came directly from that person, those people, it gives them a certain level of confidence, or it could give them the lack of confidence based on how their parents are moving. It's no different for me than that connection with God. If certain people feel that they're God's people, then they're going to identify and move with a certain, a different way. Without getting too much into it, you're going to move in a different way because you know or you believe where you come from. So that's how I would say that. I do now, but it took me years to find out. Adult years. Perhaps would you say that you would have found out earlier? Maybe if you had a father if you were more connected with your pops. Do you think that you would have found out more? You would have found out who you are earlier if you would have had that connection? Do you think so? And of course, you're never going to know 100%. But I think that if it was me, when I say if I'm telling my kids that you need to know who you are, that's based on your lineage, your capability, and understanding that there's a standard of excellence here that if you do not live up to it, then it's going to be a disappointment. Not to say, oh, well, I got a C, I'm just a C student. No, just because you got a C, you ain't a C student. That means you need to apply more and do better and do all the things to get that B and then to work hard and get that A. That's just me, though. I don't have kids, so I'm going to lean on y'all for that. But let me get to this video and y'all give me y'all thoughts. Oh, wait, yeah, listen to this. We're only going to listen to a couple minutes. Do you know who produced the first Titanic? Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't show it on the screen.
You guys are going to have who produced it? Do you know who produced the first Titanic? Oh, you guys are going to have them. Who produced it?
Who produced
the movie
or the movie
Titanic? Oh, you're going to love this, Jeremy. By the way, you should get this.
Yeah, I mean, the film was produced by John Landau, right?
Nope, there was one Titanic before that. Same exact thing. But someone produced it first. Tom, do you know the answer to this or no? Do you know the answer to this?
I should.
Are you ready to flip out? Okay. And you're going to flip the F out. You ready? What if I told you it was Adolf Hitler?
What?
Go type in Rob, all I want you to do is go type in Titanic movie 1943. Watch this. And Vinny, you just prompted this thought. I wasn't even thinking about this. Go right there. Okay, zoom in so we can read this together. Titanic's a 1943 German propaganda film made during the World War II in Berlin by Tobis Productions for UFA, depicting the catastrophic sinking of the RMS Titanic in 1912. This was the third German-language dramatization of the event, following a silent film release in 1912, just 4 months after the sinking of the British-German film. Titanic was commissioned, bingo, by Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels with the intent of showing not only the superiority of German filmmaking, but also as a propaganda vehicle that would depict British and American capitalism as being responsible for the disaster. The addition of an entirely fictional heroic German officer, Peterson, to the ship's crew was intended to demonstrate the superior bravery and selflessness of the German men as compared to British officers. The whole movie is about painting Nazi soldiers.
Do you guys think that movies are used to push propaganda to America, to other countries, whatever it may be? Do you guys think that they use movies? Because a lot of times I watch movies and I'll be like, especially now, where I'm like, yo, why are they forcing this? Like, the new thing is Queen Latifah. Like, they're forcing all these women king, and all this other stuff. They're trying to push the women are just as strong as men. And I get it. I don't get it, but I see what y'all are doing. So do y'all think that they use movies to push a lot of this stuff? I can remember movies like, it's like the Gabrielle movie where she's fighting off her husband, got beat up by the guy, and then she beats up the guy that beat up her husband. Queen Latifah's in the movie with Ludacris, and Ludacris is scared, but Queen Latifah is like, she's the Terminator now, coming through saving the day, and all this. All these movies, I get it. I don't get it, but I see what y'all doing. I can't say that I get it. I see it. Do y'all see the same thing?
As heroes, as strong, as powerful. America and Britain as weak, and the money came from Adolf Hitler. The power of making movies can change elections, can change presidents, can cause wars, can cause new policies, can cause a lot of different things.
Movies, music, if you think about it, like Taylor Swift doing her thing. I know she's not political, Jeremy. She did say something political during Hillary time, but I was telling people this, don't be surprised. She opens her mouth and tells these people, her Swifties, to vote. That is such power, and it influences and it changes the world.
Well, listen, Stalin was heavily involved in Hollywood in the 40s and 50s. It's how we ended up with Ronald Reagan. You know, he was the head of SAG, and he was so opposed to the influence of Stalin. I mean, the people who are willing to wield tools to make you other than you are keenly aware of the power of the tools that you take for granted. That's it. Because they're the ones looking for those weapons, and you're naively not. And so we've ceded some of the greatest, most powerful mechanisms ever created to people who are our ideological enemies because of naivety.
You know, it's interesting. Some of these case studies of media are living in plain sight. In the 70s, remember, soap operas were very big. The afternoon, there was nothing much on except soap operas. General Hospital, Young and Restless, One Life to Live. You can go and take a look at them, take the tour of NBC, and it's like the history of the growth of the soap opera. But did you also, in terms of social contagion, do you know when soap operas would invent diseases, you would have thousands of housewives that would go to their doctor and actually we're dealing with psychosomatic symptoms that they're bringing on themselves about fictitious diseases that they saw in a soap opera. And we looked at that comically, but really that was a foreshadowing of how easily we were all led by media.
That's
the power of media. By the way, you know what the movie John Q did to me?
Yo, listen to this one.
The movie John Q. I don't know if you've seen John Q. with Denzel.
And
phenomenal. Kevin
really
Connolly's in it. There's a bunch of guys in it. It's a very good movie. If you watch the movie John Q., by the time you're done, it was the perfect timing for Obamacare to be accepted.
Wow.
Because John Q.
I did see John Q. I remember
the long time.
My kid.
I don't bury my kid. My son buries me, right? That whole scene when he's getting emotional.
Yeah,
And don't show this, by the way, Rob. I mean, the people in the back. It's just, so John Q, the movie, shows the fact that they need a heart transplant for the kid. And they have to spend somewhat $250,000. No, it's a big amount of money. And they're like, yeah, we can't cover that. We can't do that with the insurance. So that got the average person to watch the movie and said, that's not fair. That's not this. So it stays. There's so much power in movies. Movies and music can destroy an entire civilization. That's how powerful it is. So, and by the way, what was this prompted by? You said something about, you know, when you're reading the stats, 1 out of 4 and, you know, 3,000% and all these things that you're given, 4,000%.
Yep.
You know what my problem is with the Pope? Here's what my problem is with the Pope. And it's the same problem I have when I go and talk to some other, you know, Christian, you know, pastors or different people that are calling for.
All right, let me pause it there. But I wanted to when you peep that John Q movie, I never made the connection as far as like, you know, how that would help like an Obamacare type of situation. And then it got me thinking, like, even that movie Concussion, when it was calling out a lot of the football players and stuff. Yo, that's dead serious. Yo, that's when I walked away from playing after that movie Concussion. I'm like, yo, come on now. Like that, it changed my mentality. It changed my mindset towards the game. I was just like, yo. A matter of fact, I didn't even, I lied. I don't think that I saw the movie before I made my decision. I think it was the buzz that the movie had created to where a lot of, I think I waited to watch it. I'm not sure, but there's all the stats that were coming out based on the movie that I'm over here like reevaluating stuff. Like, bro, I'm up here in Canada making like 50,000. Like, like this ain't even worth it for all this. Like, and then I started questioning it eventually. And my goal was obviously to get back down to the NFL first. But then when I broke my ankle, I'm just like, yo, this ain't even it. But then you start understanding like the concussion stuff and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yo, nah, I'm out. This ain't even worth, not for this. Like, I'm out. And that's kind of what made me, that along with a few other things, just kind of made me walk away from it. It just put a certain level of distaste and switch my mentality to the point where I just wasn't there. So let's catch up on a couple of these chats. Let me hold on. We got some stuff here. All right, so Najah earlier wrote so Ant wrote, I think kids can still know who they are. Self-awareness is important at any age. Knowing who you are does still leave room for growth and changing who they are and want to be. Yeah, to me, knowing who you are is the best, that gives you the best opportunity to change into who you need to be in order to accomplish whatever it is you're looking to accomplish. So if you don't even know who you are, or at least have some type of realistic understanding of who you are, then how can you know how the best way to implement certain changes to become who we need to become in order to get to where we are trying to get to? So that's what I want to know who I am, but also be open to understanding that I'm going to have to consistently change who I am in order to change the position that I am in the world. If I want to change my scenario, I need to change who I am. So the job wrote, knowing who you are and what you stand for, knowing that you are a king or queen and worthy of any and everything you desire and work hard for. Knowing that you king and queen and worthy of any and everything you desire and work hard for, knowing that they are exceptional and above average. These are the things that I speak into my sons on the daily from birth. And Ant wrote, the Nazis were known for having top tier media and propaganda and being industry leaders in fashion and tech. I did not know that. And then Tafari wrote, no, I don't. It's a path that they can help with, but only you can find it. You and I have changed a bunch since we've met, and we'll change and discover more as time goes. We're still looking. Oh, now I know, to your point, as far as me asking. So I asked Tafari if his father was more present in his life. Do he think that he would have found out or had a better understanding of who he is if his father was in his life? He's saying no. It's one of those things for me. Well, you may not know because you didn't experience it. I can tell you based on the same thing that I'm sure you say with a lot of the parenting stuff, because I don't have kids. I don't know, but growing up with the father, I can tell you that it's the same thing. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know who you are, right? If they can erase your history, you're not going to know who you are. My father was the greatest representation of not only who I am, but who I aspire to consistently become, who I aspire to become. So when you have a father in your life that is, I'll give you an example. If your kids were boxing, Tafari, and they see daddy as a boxer, there's a reason why they would be more drawn to it, because they see themselves based on how they see daddy. Like we see ourselves in how we see our parents, right? A lot of our confidence comes internally. Our internal confidence comes from how we see our parents as well as how other people see our parents. If you got the cool dad, then that's going to reflect kindly and favorably on you. If your dad is maybe not so cool, that's also going to reflect on you. If your daddy is a fiend, and whatever else, caught up on drugs and all that other stuff, a part of you, now you may use it in a positive way to say like, I'll never be that, I'll never become that. And you're fighting against it. but you still see that and you're using it. And you're now kind of using it in your favor to kind of push against it because you know that, well, I'm not going to become that. You know what I mean? You're fighting actively against it. But to me, your parents, especially for a son, your father is one of the greatest determinations in who you will become, how you will grow. For me, I can tell you, there's nobody could be around me, and especially here when I, how direct I am in communication, and not say that, oh, there's a lot of things that are similar with your dad. It just is what it is. And there's also stuff I'm sure with my mom. So that's what I would say to that. And yes, everything that we are intended to ingest is being created to sell you an idea. If those in power want to push a narrative, movies and music is an easy and cheap vehicle. I agree. So that was just me asking. So Tafari asked Najah, he said, not to seem combative, but ain't none of us kings and queens. Some of us are barely lords, except for Ant. These titles aren't earned. So from my view, that makes us delusional. Bro, you don't believe you're a king? Do you believe you're a god? Do you believe you're a king? You don't believe? Tafari, maybe certain stuff is starting to make sense, man. If you don't see yourself as these things, it's going to be hard to become those things. I don't know. Let me see what Najah wrote. Najah wrote, that's cool if you don't hold yourself in that light, but I am in fact a queen and my sons are indeed young kings. Then clearly I ain't shit because my kids don't seem to want to follow my path. Maybe you're not, bro, but your kids are also girls. So do you want them to box? Like, what do you mean follow your path? I believe that it's on you, but as far as your first point, then clearly I ain't shit. Maybe that's something internally that you need to reflect on, as far as like, if you think that your kids aren't listening to you or aren't following your guidance, then maybe you need to adjust it and become, I don't know. We always talk about having a cool battle. I can remember telling the kids, I use this example all the time when I was, when we were doing the program with the young kids in Montclair, and we would tell them, this is the positive things that you can be doing, guide them along what we thought was a positive path. But then at the end of the day, when they go and open their phones and look at Young Boy and all this and Dirk and all these other people, they're cooler to them. So therefore they're going to go with what's cooler. But it's on us to capture the audience and the attention of our children. That's a responsibility on us, right? So we can't just say like, oh, they should just do it because I said to do it. Tafari, you were the first person that said last week that when the person at the top is not following the rules that they're setting, then it's hard for the person, for you to follow them. So therefore, there's an obligation on the parents to make sure that they are being something that their kids are excited to follow. That's what I think, like, yo, that's what a lot of us are doing, right? When you say set the bar, like my dad set the bar for me, like that's setting the standards, right? So I don't know. Maybe you see things differently. I don't know, but that's just how I see stuff. Like I want my kid to grow up. You don't think there's a reason why Bronny James and Bryce James probably, they just know that they could get to the NBA. They always just grew up thinking that. Why? Because their dad is LeBron James. The same thing. We got Peyton Manning's nephew, right? It's the same thing. Like when we see people close to us achieve success, for me, I feel that I'm closer to it myself. I feel like, oh, you can even think like, oh, this is my destiny, whatever it may be. I don't know what you need to put in your head in order to get you in a position to win. But to me, I would definitely say that parents determine a lot about who your kids are. But back to your point, as far as let's look up, do we think that we should be calling our kids kings and queens? We should be calling ourselves kings and queens. But I feel bad for Tafari, bro. I feel bad. You don't see yourself as a king, brother. The king of your household, the king of, I don't know. What's the difference? Let me ask you this, Tafari. What's the difference between a CEO and a king? What's the difference between a CEO and a king? Weren't you the CEO of your business? Why would you? Maybe if you saw yourself as a king, you would approach your business differently. So I don't know. Maybe you should adjust. Maybe Tafari, you got to be around more kings in order to feel like you a king yourself. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I'm not okay with you thinking that, brother. CEO versus king, a couple hundred millions. Really? Because I'm sure there's plenty of kings of countries that are not making as much as a bunch of CEOs. So I don't know if I agree with that. And I'm sure there's some villages in a lot of these countries that the kings in those villages are not as financially successful as CEOs. So what makes somebody a king? What makes somebody a queen? Would you not, I don't know. Are you looking to marry a queen? Big bro, Tafari, Ant, are you looking to marry a queen? Are you looking to marry a queen? How can you be looking to marry a queen if you don't see yourself as a king? I don't know. Just different thoughts. Hold on. Yeah, you're talking about like Mansa Musa. Yeah, there's levels. There's a CEO. I'm a CEO of my company, but I'm not Zuckerberg. Not yet. You feel me? I'm not on the same CEO level as Zuckerberg. So there's definitely it's a spectrum. You feel me? So yeah, there's kings like Mansa Musa, but there's also a whole lot of other kings. Tafari wrote, yeah, I was the CEO of my business that I established. People calling themselves names that haven't achieved shit. I can't get on board with that delusion. So what I'm asking is, what makes you entitled to call yourself a CEO of your business? But if somebody else has a household and has a family, kids that they're raising, what makes that delusional to refer to themselves as the king and queen of their household compared to you saying that you're the CEO of your business? Ant wrote, why would I settle for a princess when there's queens walking around? What are we talking about? Laughing my ass up. Yo, Tafari, yo. No, it's not. Tafari said, to me, it's the same dumb shit like all women saying that they're a 10. Well, a 10 to me is something that I don't know. Tafari is just, Tafari, what are you? What are you? If you would describe yourself, I want to know what is Tafari? You said you're not a king. Are you a peasant? What are you? Are you a Gen Pop? Like, what are you? I want to know. Can't nobody, I feel bad. I was in an interview, or not an interview. These people, they were that actually Doug connected me to. It's a platform to where they host different shows and stuff like that. And I found out, I didn't even know it's actually a Christian or Christian, but a lot of the people are Christian based, faith based, so there's not a lot of cursing. So he listened to this show and he was like, I'm not sure. And I was like, bro, you got to listen to the podcast. I think the Big Fish podcast would be more suitable. But on that show, he's asking me, we were talking about like, who I look up to, who I want to be. And I just like, I've never been the type to say, I want to be that person. I look at, and I just said while they're talking, I'm just like, I really just feel like I'm this shit. Like I really, and I'm willing to work for it. Like, and if I'm not, like, why would I not wake up feeling like, I'm God, bro? Like, what you mean I'm godly? Like a king, like honestly, a king is minimal to like how I see myself. You feel me? A king is just the position. Like the God is like what I am. That's kind of how I look at it. I don't know. Najah wrote, or is it delusion not to hold yourself and offspring in the highest regard? Ant wrote, Tab going through it. Maybe we need to pull up and check on Tab. Najah wrote, it's giving basic vibrations. Bro, it is, yo. It's given, it really is giving basic vibrations. But if you see yourself as basic, we're not saying that there's anything wrong with that. For you, It's definitely something wrong. If I start giving y'all basic vibrations, somebody come get me. Make sure I'm not on the ledge. I'm dead serious. If I ever give y'all basic energy or basic vibrations, and I'm looking regarding myself, seeing myself as somebody basic, please somebody come get me. I'm in trouble. Or somebody's forcing me to say something. I caved into the pressure, or somebody drugged me. And I would say that it's probably the latter. Somebody had to drug me. So help. Hold on. Uh-oh, now we getting into it. Hold up. Hold on. Why are you going from one extreme to another? Well, I did say peasant, but I also said Gen Pop. Gen Pop is average. That's not an extreme. Most people are Gen Pop type of people. That's not extreme. But he wrote, why are you going from one extreme to another? I'm a work in progress. My aim is to be a king, but I'm not going to disrespect the work by calling myself that till I get there. Inside, I view myself. What's the line where one of the rappers says, I said I was the best before I knew I was? I don't know, yo. And there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. Aunt tried to start some stuff. John said she wants all the smoke. Nah, she ain't say that. She just said for her. It's giving basic energy, but there's nothing wrong with that. Aunt wrote, same. If I'm sounding basic, it's a cry for help. Yo, please come get me. Somebody come save me. Please, somebody remind me. I don't know. Tell me something that I did great for you. I don't know. Please make it up, but get me out of this basic, like, you know how the movie with the sunken place? That's how I look at it. Like, yo, like I just society broke me. If I'm thinking basic, that means society broke me, and I need y'all to come heal me ASAP. Shy, shout out to Shy in the building. Shy wrote, if you're not a king, why should a woman submit to you? Tafari. I gotta go back to it. You always sending me these messages, these Instagrams, and I love when you send them to me because it gives us something to discuss on here. Selfishly, but bro, how can you expect a woman to submit to you if you're not a king? She not would you want your daughter submitting to somebody basic? Would you want your daughter submitting like, hey? You gotta be a king out here, just within your household. You gotta be a king out here. You gotta be a queen out here, just within your household. And I think if more people move with those standards, then we'd all be in a better place. But when we see ourselves as less than, we get less than results. I get what Tafari. I'm not stupid. I get what Tafari's saying. Tafari's saying that. You see a lot of people out here giving titles that aren't deserved or aren't earned. I understand that. I understand what you're saying. But my question is, why do you feel you haven't earned it? Or what do you see yourself? Let's kind of take a step back. If you could answer that question, how do you see? Well, you already did. You said you see yourself, I'm a work in progress. I don't know what that means. What are you, bro? I don't want to hear this. Oh, I'm a work in progress. Well, where are you currently? Along that progress, where are you currently? What are you currently? That's what I'm asking. You could be a work in progress, and I'm sure Elon Musk feels like he's still a work in progress. I'm sure Tom Brady, after he won 6 Super Bowls, thought he was, I'm still a work in progress. I'm still growing. I'm still getting better. Like, he said that type of stuff. All right, so Tafari said she should submit. She should submit because I'm the leader of our family and I'm the man she chose. But I think the term king is diminishing the actual title. So let's say that it is diminishing the title. Does it benefit you as a family? Does it hurt society? I don't know. I'm just asking because I get what you're saying. Hold on. Aunt wrote, nah, bro, there is right and wrong, Dak. All the books we read tell you that your greatness starts with a mindset. Literally every single book. Go read The Magic of Thinking Big by David J. Schwartz. No, I think you're missing my point, Aunt. I'm with you on that. But if somebody wants to not be that, then I'm not going to say you're wrong for not wanting to be a king. That's what I'm saying. As far as when I say right or wrong, and I said that that's for you. For me, that's totally different. If even I'll be totally honest, even with Doug being on, I don't know if y'all peeped earlier when Doug said he was talking about Dave Clark. And he said, Dave, he's a bigger competitor than you. And he was talking to me. He was like, he's a bigger competitor than me. I'm sure he's a bigger competitor than you. Bro, I immediately clenched up. Like, I don't know if y'all can see it in my face, but I tightened up because it's just a natural response to somebody saying that somebody's better than me at something or more competitive, something that I take pride in. So I don't know. So what Tafari is saying, I'm saying like, yo, bro, if you want to think that way, then you're not right or wrong. But what Ant's saying is very true. How you see yourself in a lot of ways defines how you will be. And that's the whole point of that video that we just put up with surrounding yourself with other people. Because as you see other people, it's going to reflect on how we see ourselves, which is going to allow us to elevate and to take advantage of certain opportunities that come our way. But that's just my opinion. But Ant saying, yo, ain't no opinion, it's just fact. I'm with you, bro. Tafari wrote, where I am is close and I will get there or die trying. But when I get there, I don't want some F that's did nothing calling themselves the same as me without the work. Okay. But what do you think that somebody, so to you, Tafari, what makes somebody a king? Because I understand I understand your message. Like I can understand what you're saying. I may not agree with it, but I understand your message. You're saying that when you get to a certain level to where you reach that king level, you don't want somebody else using that name to describe them. Okay. So I get what you're saying. Tafari wrote, it's like a dude that ain't win a damn fight calling themselves a champ. But let me ask you this. If they didn't win maybe a fight for the championship of the world, but can somebody be a king within their household? Can somebody be a queen within their household? Like what has to, so do they have to make a certain amount of money to be a king? Do they have to have a certain amount of followers to be a king? What defines being a king to you? I guess that's what I'm asking. Shiro, Tafari, you're a king. Stop with the BS. You take care of your family. They look up to you. Think big. You thinking the same. Think small, and you thinking the same. Think big. You think small. You thinking small. Oh, think big. You're thinking small. Okay, I get what Shai was saying. And Taff, realistic doesn't mean you're not regarding yourself as a king. Realistic is me telling myself, yes, I am a king on the road to my kingdom. This path has you doing the task that those of. To me, if you see yourself as a king, it's going to force you to have certain standards for yourself as if you are a king. So if you really truly believe that you're a king, then you're going to move throughout life as if you're a king. The same way where you see some people that just believe, yo, I'm going to the league. Like I'm going to the league. And you see that belief come out in their actions. They approach certain situations as a professional. They're taking maybe AAU practice a little bit more seriously than everybody else because in their mind, they're holding themselves to a standard of somebody that's in the NBA rather than holding themselves to a standard of somebody that's just having fun playing AAU basketball. But I get what Tafari's saying, though. I get what Tafari's saying. I think what Tafari's saying is he's just mad that people throw around these titles and they're not. And because people throw around the title so much, it takes away a bit of meaning as far as what the actual title is, if I'm understanding you correctly. So I can understand what Tafari's saying. What I'm upset about is that you not seeing yourself as that. But I get it. I get it. But as long as you see yourself on the journey to becoming a king, then that's what matters. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Let me see. A lower tier kings earn lower tier kings earn it, be it start before they have the kingdom. Yeah, I think that Alexander the Great, I think he thought he was great before he actually, everybody else thought he was great. Put it that way. I think Floyd Mayweather thought he was great before everybody else thought he was great. I think Ali thought he was great before everybody else thought he was great. I think Kobe thought he was that guy before everybody else. All these people. So I don't know. All right, we'll finish up here. Once we finish with these comments, I didn't realize it's 10:24. Yeah, we've been going. Ant wrote, you will never become a king with the mindset of a servant. But a true king knows they sometimes have to do what a servant does, but knows that it ain't the end, just a stop along the way. That's a fact, bro. King you gotta be willing to do everything. As the king. To me, as the king, it's funny that you said, Ant, that not the mindset of a servant, but the mindset of a king, to understand that in order to get these people to follow me, in order to have more of an impact, that I have to be willing to do any and everything for this. I have to be willing to do the job that maybe people on the team don't think are as desirable. How many of y'all have been in situations like this where nobody wants to do something, and then you know what? The top dog says, you know what? I'll do it. And then everybody else feels a little bit different about it, where it's like, well, yo, I'm willing to do it. Because the top dog saying it like, yo, I'm a boss anyway. So me doing that job, I'm just doing it for the overall good. So I'm gonna have a certain level of buy-in. So yeah, definitely. I think what Ant said is key. Not having the mindset of a servant, but being willing to do any and everything that a servant may have to do in order to preserve your kingdomship, or in order to get those followings. That's how I would look at it. Shiro, Ant is levels to this shit. There really is, yo. There really is. Yo, when is Ant camming up, bro? Can we get a Friday cam up from everybody? What's up, Shy? What's up, Jai? Y'all want to, if y'all not working, y'all want to get a cam up in a, even if it's not Friday, maybe soon, but I just be excited, yo. Ant needs a show. Like, Ant, bro, what can we do to bring you on board, bro, and do something consistent? I don't care if it's every 2 weeks, every month, but we need to figure something out. Because I'll tell you, keep it real. One of my goals is to have this, to have a network where we can provide a platform for people who have a lot of positivity and knowledge to give to people based on their experience, based on their perspective, all these different things, their accomplishments, whatever it is, their journey, and be able to shine a light on those. Because I feel like a lot of times we don't appreciate our stories the way that we'll appreciate, our favorite celebrity stories, or this person's stories, or this was a movie. Yo, we got dope stories ourselves to share that perhaps can be more relatable than even like all this celebrity stuff. Hearing somebody's story, hearing Doug talk about having 7 kids, I'm over here like, that it may not be the same thing as, having LeBron James talk about being a parent or something like that, or and somebody that they made a movie about, but Doug's is more realistic. Perhaps. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I think that people relate to different things. So I feel like we all have a voice, and we all can make a positive influence just by sharing our story. Ant wrote, Shy, facts. Tafari wrote, I think a king is a title earned. Don't care what y'all say. Yeah, but you're not. What makes you earn it though? That's what we're saying. Like, at what point do you get the trophy of being a king? Is it a money thing? What's stopping you? You said you're on your way to becoming a king. What do you need to get to in order to see yourself as a king? If somebody is in their household, putting food on the table, going out there every day, putting food on the table for their family, raising their family, being a positive leader in their family, being a positive role model, all these different things, if they're contributed, if they're committed to their family, all these different things, if they're doing that within their household, why aren't they a king? And what I would ask you is, what things do you need to accomplish for you to crown yourself a king? Like, what do you need to accomplish? Ant wrote, I'm camming up soon. This Friday, I'm on the road for work, but I'm never too cool to cam up when I can. Facts, bro. You always giving the game anyway. And with the chat is always, trust me, it's always appreciated. Ant wrote, bro, I wanted Doug to talk about the 7-kid journey. Now, we'll definitely have him back on. Servant leadership. Train, I love that. That's the, follow my actions, bro. Follow my actions. I'm moving. I'm doing everything I'm willing to do. Being willing to do any and everything that you hire other people to do or are counting on other people to do says a lot. The fact that, well, they're willing to do it too. So, Shy wrote, I'm shy. I don't know about camming up. It's all good. Tafari wrote, it makes them a father and responsible. A king is someone that provides over many. Break it down, bro. Break it down as far as, okay, so you said that a king is somebody that provides over many. How many does a king, like how many people do you have to provide for in order to be a king? Break it down, like tell us. Ant wrote, Taff, I'm a king. I don't care what you say. Adrian Train wrote, best example of servant leadership, Jesus Christ. But y'all don't want to talk about that. I actually do want to talk about it. I'd love to. We gotta get you on, Train, because we should actually. Matter of fact, it's on me. My fault. We gotta really talk about a show. It's on me. But we gotta definitely get you on. I think connecting you, even like doing something maybe with us and Dave. But I think you and Dave would have a dynamic conversation. Dave Tyree, about Christ. So I think that would be dope. So Taff, do you think I am a king? Pause. So Tafari said you got to run a town at least. All right, so I guess the mayor of the town is a king. All right, so that's, everybody can define it differently. Taff, don't dance around my question. See, he about to, and Taff, before you answer, I feel like Ant will cut somebody off. So before you answer, Ant's saying don't dance around the question. Maybe if maybe you should process it a little bit and then answer. You don't got to answer now. That way you ain't got to dance around it, but you also ain't got to, yeah. I don't know, but I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. We're gonna wrap it up. It's 10:30. Appreciate y'all always tapping in. Tafari, he wrote, no, yeah, we're gonna wrap up right there. All right, so hold up. Let's take these 30 seconds. Oh, I still got the Doug up here. Let's take whatever. We'll leave welcome Doug Cornfield. Shout out to Doug. Let's take 30 seconds to envision ourselves. If we already see ourselves as kings and queens, cool. But let's just continue to visualize ourselves becoming. Let's think of the attributes that kings and queens have. And I tried to save them, bro. Like I tried to save them. Like I even tried to end the show early, like, or try to just end the show abruptly. But let's think about. Let's do this for 30 seconds. Let's think about the attributes. When we think about kings and queens, what they bring to the table, the responsibilities, the accountability, all the things that they provide. Let's think about those things and envision ourselves doing more of those things for 30 seconds. All right. 30 seconds. Let's go. Tafari. Stop typing, Tafari. 30 seconds. Let's go. All right. I need to be more courteous. I need to be more understanding. See, these are some of the things that I saw. Like when I think of a king, I think of a king as you don't have to yell because your voice just speaks back. You know what I mean? Like those are the things that I thought about in my 30 seconds. So Tap, I want you to come up with what a king is to you, and then I'll explain to you what it means to me and how I am a king, and you're wrong. All right, so let's that's a good exercise. That's a good exercise. But y'all know what we do. We elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint as well as doing what we are destined to do, making that impact within our communities and throughout society that we are capable of. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Let's continue to get to that big bag. But with everything that we do, we're going to move with integrity, of course. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And we're going to continue. Somebody start the group chat. I got to start the group chat. I was already supposed to start the group chat. I'm going to start a Telegram or WhatsApp. Then we'll get on. We'll continue these convos. I know I said I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. That's what the positive message from Ace was. Just do it now. So y'all have that from me shortly. But with that, I'll see y'all soon. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And don't take what he's saying too seriously. It's not about you. It's more so how he's seeing himself and projecting his own limitations on you and the rest. I'm just I'll see y'all soon, man. Ew. And make sure that you like. If you didn't like on your way out, and we appreciate y'all. So make sure that you like for the algorithm. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ooh.